That's how we gotta do this podcast.
No, we're gonna get copyrighted.
We're getting drunk and then we're doing this podcast. Maybe we'll go crash that party. But you guys don't have balls, dude.
I'll go.
Yeah, straight up. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say one of the neighbors.
One of the neighbors down the street invited us. It's actually a family-only party. Oh, well, one of your family members down the street invited us.
My cousin's in there.
What if we got ourselves?
We could be like a water girl, like.
I hope they have food. No, I hope they got those like little mini sliders.
Or mini tacos.
Oh my god.
Mini tortillas. Tortillas.
Dude, there's like 16 security guards.
What now? You have a phone?
Did you bring your phone with you?
What time does it start? What does?
The party.
I'm not sure. They weren't briefed.
Not sure.
Who wasn't briefed?
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
We are back.
Yeah, we're back. So here's the deal. Before we get into this podcast, first and foremost, I want to say that this is going to be about my ayahuasca experience. Also, the three guys that are sitting on this couch, so we're going to talk about them in a little bit. But this is the second time we did this podcast because Jacob, first, he said that, the thing stopped recording halfway through. We did. How long did we do the podcast for?
So basically what happened was that we
Hold on. How long did we film it for?
2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
Two straight full hours.
Two straight full. We were like, that was great. We got it. We said, we're like, that was good shit. Dapped each other up. Like, let's go. Fucking next day, Jacob goes, the audio cut halfway out. We can't use it. Cool. Okay. Cool.
It was that night. I texted Brad and I was like, fuck, dude. Because like I knew immediately, as soon as we were done with this podcast, the one that we filmed previously, I looked at the recorder and it wasn't even fucking
You're
counting.
a scum of the
and
earth.
I just didn't say anything because I was like, I'm just going to save this bullshit for later on and come up with something.
You're an asshole.
I'm going to have to come up with something. So I told him at like 2 hours later, at like 11 o'clock at night, I was like, audio for some reason just stopped recording. Because usually I'd be behind the counter like making sure everything's going well, but I wasn't doing it. So I was like, it just stopped midway, but because I think that would make me look like less of a fucking idiot.
And it was never on.
It just was never on. So.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll take fault for that. This is V2.
Yeah, V2.
And I'm gonna check one more thing.
Yeah, before we continue, because I want to get into this ayahuasca thing, because this is something I did. What was it, like a week ago now?
A week tomorrow.
A week tomorrow.
Week tomorrow.
Okay, we're solid. Okay. Yeah, double, triple check that shit.
Nice, dude. Because honestly, if I sit through another 2 hour podcast, or if we all sit through another 2 hour podcast and it's not recording,
dude, I might jump off.
I would honestly probably
the new bridge in LA.
I'd honestly wouldn't even. I'd probably lose my job.
Well, now that we're all here, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, dog.
Dude.
Also, part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast with you guys in general was it was a kind of a Thanksgiving to you guys, honestly. Mainly Jacob.
That sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
No, because I learned some shit and I told you about it. I'll get into that in a little bit about Jacob and about just the people in my life in general because of
the ayahuasca trip.
Let's
talk about it.
So let me go into it. So first and foremost, everyone's probably like, what is it like? Oh my God. What happens? Like, I've heard so many crazy things. Like, there was this Connor Murphy guy who did it a bunch of times and then went crazy or some shit. Like
he was like drinking his own piss,
doing crazy shit. And everyone was like, yo, you good, bro? And
Is there video of this?
I don't know if they're still in the
There's a lot of stuff on like Reddit and just a lot of stuff online because he was he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
He's definitely still alive. But he was like a full-on fitness influencer, like aesthetic dude going to Venice Beach, like flexing. But he like lost his shit.
So he's just a crazy tweak now.
We don't know. I don't know the exact details of it.
Okay,
All I know is he went through some stuff, and like at least specifically in the fitness industry, people would have known this guy. And then he was like talking about doing this, and then he kind of disappeared. So I don't know what he's doing right now. I'm sure he's good.
Oh, okay.
But in general, people have this idea that like, oh, this shit's so scary because first and foremost, when I first said I have been thinking about doing this, I want to say for like about the last year, and for the last 6 months, I've been like highly contemplating doing it.
Yeah, you would always like really bring it up. He'd take like mushrooms and like that was kind of like mild, moderate. But you were always telling me how you always want to do ayahuasca.
Yeah, the fact that you even like do mushrooms as much as you do like trips me out because I'm scared of mushrooms.
Nah, yeah, I mean, but
you said you only microdose though.
Well, it's okay.
Even then, like
but microdosing, you're not scared of. You don't feel. It's not that at all. It's not like when you take mushrooms, you're like, oh shit, like, am I good? My hands and all this shit's moving. It's not like that. Microdosing, you genuinely, if it's a true microdose, you don't actually feel anything. You just feel maybe this sense of like
happiness.
I feel good.
Like colors are cooler.
But everything's normal.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh my God. So anyways, it's normal. Obviously the fear is normal. But yeah, I was very afraid of doing this and I was thinking about doing it for a long time because for many reasons in my life, but the fear was built up around what other people would say about it. And they made it sound like there was this thing. And if you were, you always say this shit like if you're kind of like, already crazy, and then you take this thing, it's gonna for sure make you crazy or like hit some switch or some shit. And so before I get into this, I did like a whole week diet where I'm basically trying to be very consistent with the food that I'm putting in my body. So I'm not eating any red meat. I'm just basically eating like fish and rice.
What's the reason behind that?
Something to do with I think physiologically the way that the medicine interacts like in your gut. So like your response to the medicine.
Basically, they just wanted you to trip fucking balls
to get higher, yeah. But also at the same time, I think it's more so in relationship to like showing reverence to like the practice of it, like showing that you're serious. Like, because the thing about this whole thing is, I'm sure when Connor, whoever else does this shit willy nilly, people just do it. It's like they just show up and like, I'm just gonna do this thing. And the whole point of this is not just like to do a plant medicine or to do a drug or however you want to view this, right? It's to genuinely go, okay, what am I trying to figure out? Like, why am I doing this?
Not just there's like steps to it to like actually make sure that you truly actually want to do it.
Yeah, and there's steps to it. Even we're talking about mushrooms, like the whole point of actually doing these things, like, yeah, you could just get fucked up and take mushrooms with your boys, but you could also like try to take these things therapeutically where you're trying to get something out of it. So for a week, I'm very serious about my diet, and I'm very serious about not drinking caffeine. Like everything's just super clean, super basic, and I'm just trying to like basically at the same time during this week, I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to set my intentions as far as like, what's my purpose in doing this? Like not just to take a drug, right? Not just to take this medicine. I went into it with that mentality. And like I said, I've been talking to you and about doing this in general for the last year. And then for the last 6 months, really like, oh, I want to do it. And I was afraid, very afraid. And I realized for me.
Why do you think you were afraid though?
Yeah.
Of taking it?
Just to deal with the traumas, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, I'm afraid in general of like anything that has to do with when my body doesn't feel normal. So like
you
if
you have no control over what's going on.
Well, you do have control, but I fear not having control. So give you like a small example, when I drink too much caffeine, and I'll get like my heart will like be a little bit and I'll be like, oh, that's not okay.
I love that shit.
That's not normal. You guys fucking
be taking stimulants up the ass, stay up all night. I'm like, dude, let's fucking go.
I'll drink a Ghost before bed too, just to like do some editing. I'm like,
I can't do that shit. I can't do that.
I have to.
Yeah, I have to.
Anyways, but I don't. Thankfully, I literally won't sleep. I will not sleep. I have a problem. Like very sensitive to all kind of drugs. Right? I've always been that way. I've always been just like, if I feel some out of sorts, like even sometimes when I'm dehydrated, I'll be like, yo, my head, and it gets to me mentally where I'm like, something's wrong. And I like hyper focus on feeling not normal, so that in general, I like to feel as good as possible, right? You guys are true nice over there. So
nice ASMR.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like, that's one of my biggest fears in general. So knowing that I'm going to put myself in a position that is like, and this just before we get into this plant, the one that I took is called yahe, which is like from, in Colombia.
Bro, every time you say
yahe,
I feel like it's like you're about to have a great time.
Yeah, no, bro. This is the strongest version.
Like in my head, it's like yahe. Like in my head every single time.
This is the strongest version of ayahuasca, basically. I took the strongest version. I've always been, like I said, afraid to like lose control, afraid to not like know what's happening. Because in general, all this stuff kind of comes back to like, I've talked about this before, obviously like losing my father and the idea of death. But that was the biggest thing I wanted to conquer. I wanted to feel like I could just be okay. Because I know that I don't have a choice. I know that.
Okay as far as in what? Like dying?
My own mortality.
Oh, okay.
Because I've always struggled with that my whole life. From my childhood till now, it's just like, it never feels like it's enough. I always feel like maybe I haven't done enough and I'm not good enough. I haven't put out good enough. Like I have this general sense of like, my biggest reason to not wanting to die is because I feel like I have so much more to do. And then the other side of that is that I'm afraid of the unknown. Okay. So I've always struggled, and I've been back and forth, with God and my beliefs and what happens and what doesn't happen. And because I think there's no definite, that dude died, he came back a year later and was like, bro, let me tell you about this.
You think everyone's scared of death?
To a degree.
I'm fucking so scared of death. Like that's
to a degree.
Ever since I was little, like I would always tell my mom, she would always pick me up from my dad's house for the weekend. And on the way home, like, I just think about death and dying. Like, what happens? And I would always ask my mom this. Like, you could ask her. I was just so obsessed with, like...
What's her number?
Your son.
No, I want to ask her. I want to talk to her. Dude.
I'll call her myself and you can talk to her. How about
just that? Slide me the number. I'll ask her.
I'll call her myself. Okay. You can talk to her.
Call her right now.
Dead ass.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but...
So we're afraid.
I would always ask her, like, Mom, what happens when you die? Like, she's like...
At what age?
I was like 5 and 6. I remember asking her this because I was so obsessed with it. I would not stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I was just so young. I don't know why I was obsessed with it, but...
I was obsessed with it because of my childhood. Because my
Well, yeah,
dad
'cause,
died.
like,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh,
I feel
okay,
like
what
if
does
I-
that mean?
I had no one close to me die though. That's why
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's because like the shit I was watching. Like I would always watch like horror movies and stuff like that. Maybe that's cause like that's why I was thinking that. But in all reality, I don't understand why I would be obsessed with it. I think it's because like how you said, I like to know what happens. I like to be in control of what happens, and I've always been like that since I was little. So like, not knowing what happens fucks me up because I want to know what happens.
Yeah, so I'll get into this. This is the interesting thing and part of stuff that I learned. I want to get into it after, though, I explain the physical feelings, right? So first off, I just want to tell you guys, it's like a very thick, viscous, like liquid. It's brown. It tasted horrible.
So like shark.
I mean, it didn't taste like shit.
Like
If you can compare it to
I'm
something.
glad you asked. Yeah, I'm glad you
If
asked.
you can compare it to something.
Shark. Imagine you took espresso beans and you know the beans that they make the espresso with, coffee, whatever. But then you take the beans and you like ground them up so that they were liquid with like a little bit of water. It'd probably taste something like that. Like not
coffee.
not like coffee though. Like so they
Like
take the
mushy
beans.
beans, bro.
So look, hold on.
You know the bad aftertaste of coffee? You know what
Exactly.
it is?
Like a terrible
I'd rather
taste.
taste that than shrooms. Shrooms taste fucking gross.
But you could have shrooms and soda for many variations. This
Yeah,
is
you're
like
right,
this
yeah.
one way to do it. So anyways, oh, by the way, too, so I'm with a guy that people would call a shaman, but technically it's called a Tate, which is like, this is a guide in doing this thing. And this guy speaks zero. I want to preface to say this now. Zero English. Okay. He speaks very little English. Like he knows basic things, but he's from Colombia, straight up like born and raised doing this shit. Started, I think, drinking this shit when he was like 6, and it's in his it's his whole tradition. It's not some like white hippie guy that was like, hey bro, come down to Venice and like I'll give you some ayahuasca.
This guy's been through some shit.
This motherfucker like been doing it
motherfucker's-
since he was a kid. Like
That still fucks me up. But when you told me the first time, I was like, imagine like a little 6-year-old kid just fucking tripping on ayahuasca.
but it's like in that culture, it's like that's a thing they do. Like in the place that he's from, it's like a thing that they do.
That's
It's
so crazy to me.
very
though.
normal.
'Cause it's like a huge
weird.
mental.
Yeah,
It's a mental drug. So I'm thinking like
it changes you forever.
as a kid taking
definitely
that,
changes you forever.
because you know like when traumatic things happen to you when you're a kid, like you remember it forever.
Yeah,
So like wouldn't that be like
this
a
guy's
massive
this
trauma?
guy probably floats, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
He probably
He could
just
probably
shows
walk
up
on
like,
water.
He just shows up like this. He's like, hello.
Moses.
Like I don't know.
Continue the story.
Okay, so anyways, this guy's here, and now just so we get the visual, he's got paint on his face, right? He painted his face. He's got full.
You didn't
Yo,
tell us this.
I
Is he in a
did.
tribe?
Yeah, so he's like
No, you
fully,
guys were, they were back there. Dum, dum,
he's
dum,
fully
dum.
gowned up.
What are
like-
you doing?
Bro, listen. He has beads, and he's got like a little headdress thing. This is a real motherfucker.
He had a headdress.
I didn't tell you that shit. Yes,
You skipped that part.
I skipped that part.
For sure, skipped
Well,
that
this spot's
part.
better than
Yeah.
fuck the other one. Okay, so listen, he's fully gowned up, and he has a harmonica. Okay,
I would have been.
Yes.
I would have been tripping.
listen.
Bro, you didn't tell us any of this.
Okay, because we got into it. But listen. He's got a harmonica, so he's like, this is what this guy's doing. Well, fuck, I gotta take you guys through what it felt like, right? Anyway, so this guy's got a harmonica. He's like singing songs. He's like these, like it's straight up. It makes you higher. That's the best way I could describe it. These like types of little songs and like things that he's singing.
The harmonica was making you.
Bro, on
higher.
God. Yeah. Like the way he was singing this, the way it was sounding was just like, as soon as he would start, it'd be like, oh, fuck. It's like, there's more. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So anyways, I'll take you through it. I take this stuff. It was that viscous liquid, tasted like trash. I take the first cup. Mine looked like a little 3 ounces, right? In a little white shot glass. Okay. Shot cup, like little mini shot cup. And I'm looking like, oh, that's it. Like it's not a lot. So I'm laying there and I'm wearing like a hoodie, a shirt, and then like a tank top. This will be important later on. Like later on.
Any of this?
Yeah, no, but I got better details this time.
Better
Let me
details
go.
this time because last time it was very just
So
surface.
listen, so I'm laying there and I drink it. And now before I drink this shit, I'm trying to think, okay, what's my intention? What do I want to get out of this? What's important? Like we're trying to organize my thoughts, and I'm trying to go down that path because like I really wanted to get something from this and not just like be high, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like thinking to myself, when do you know when it's hitting? Like, cause that's so new, right? Cause I've taken mushrooms. I know like mushrooms kind of creep in. You're like your vision kind of gets a little like narrow, distorted. And you're like, okay, you start to experience like maybe the sun differently, or like your vision on like trees, like perception
like
is
colors
changing.
and shit are more saturated. You're like,
So
oh, shit.
this isn't like that. This is like I'm laying there and I'm waiting for it to hit. Now about 35 minutes in, I'm like, I'm like, I wonder what it starts to feel like. And I'm laying there and I feel this like warm go like under my whole posterior chain, like from my top of my head all the way down to my heels. It was like this like warm feeling. I'm laying there. I'm like, oh, it's hit. Oh, it's hit. Like we're starting.
I feel like that's the scariest part of any come up on a drug.
Yeah.
That's like I get so nervous.
I was only nervous because I did not know what to expect.
Yeah.
So on other things, obviously, I'm like, okay, I know what it's like. The first time though, and specifically something like this where you hear like all this crazy shit and how intense it is and how serious it is.
So wait, as you're coming up, is there music playing?
Yeah, like so he starts like he has like this like he had besides the harmonica, he had like a leaf thing that was like.
Are you laying down?
outside?
I'm laying down.
You're laying down where on the grass?
I'm laying down. Yeah, I'm laying
Outside.
down. Outside.
Oh, okay.
So I'm laying down, and he's like, he's chilling at first because he takes it too. Takes a smaller amount. He's like taking it too. But he's done this. It's not like he's not. Oh my god, I'm tripping out. What's going on, bro? I feel that, and I'm like, huh. And then like maybe like 5 minutes go by, and I'm trying to think like, what else do I feel? What else do I see? Right. So it felt similar to mushrooms when mushrooms kind of like, if you look at the walls, they kind of little distortion. You look at your hand, you notice how like your hand's kind of like old, young. Like you kind of get kind of dialed into how many fucking little tiny.
You just start
you know what I'm
paying
saying?
attention to smaller
You're like,
details.
damn, I see every wrinkle in my hand. And it's like, am I old? Am I young? You can't decide, right?
Yeah.
But the crazy part about this was, if you guys could ever relate to taking mushrooms and looking at yourself in the mirror.
Bro, I
I never
Okay,
do.
exactly.
When I go to the bathroom, I go straight to the toilet, pee, and then get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Because, like,
your
I know
dick's
not,
fucking. Your dick looks fucking weird. Anyways,
I don't look at anything.
don't know about that, but
yeah, but bro, don't lie. Your dick is kind of.
I
like,
haven't really tripped on shrooms and looked at my dick, so it's just like
You never peed on mushrooms?
Yeah, what?
not that I remember.
Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter.
I've taken acid and like touched my dick. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
You like jerked it or just touched it?
Just to see what happens.
Did it get up?
Yeah,
Really?
I was low-key hard.
That's impressive.
But
That's not normal.
I let go of it though, because like I just wanted to continue my shower.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Anyways.
So normally you look in the mirror and you go like.
Shut up, bitch.
You don't want to look because the lights in the face, it kind of distorts and like you kind of look weird to yourself. The weird thing about this was I'm getting the visuals from like I'm looking at the walls and shit. I'm looking at like the trees and shit. They're distorting and they're moving. But I looked at his face and his face was crystal clear. Like there was no distortion in this guy's face.
8K or 4K?
4K, like straight up, like you can see the sweat, like fucking.
You can see the pores on his
you
skin.
Straight up, and it wasn't weird. I was like, okay, this is like looks clear. But anyways, then my mind starts to like, I'm thinking, okay, because I know this is a real like cerebral experience for the most part, right? So I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, what's happening to my mind? And I start to realize, and I told you guys this at the gym, all your thoughts my thoughts started to feel spaced out. Where like normally you have this traditional linear thought where you're like, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna do this workout, that's what I'm gonna train, I'm gonna talk to this person, I say hi, like all the stuff you're doing in your very like conscious mind is like right here in front of you and you're doing it. This makes you think like, okay, right there I knew in front of me, I know that I just took this stuff and I'm laying down. But then I had all these other thoughts that were related to, am I going to be okay? What's going to happen? All these, my ideas and my stresses around my anxiety, right? And they started to like space themselves out. And best way I could describe it.
Fucking biggest trip to be, because I remember you telling me this at the gym, and you like the way you were explaining it, you were like so like fucking descriptive and passionate. I was like, this guy has literally taken this drug and completely transformed. I swear to God.
Yeah. Well, there's
the
a
next
lot
day.
coming.
The next day.
Yeah. But so anyways, I'm seeing these thoughts and like all these things felt like they just felt more almost attainable, more like I could individually be like, okay, like I could wrap my mind around this. Cause normally my mind kind of feels like a lot all at once.
Like scattered brain. Can't think of one thing.
Yeah. And then like something will pop in my mind. I'll be like, fuck, I got to make sure that I do that. Then I do that.
And then something else pops in while you're thinking of that.
Exactly. So this made everything feel like very spaced out and fluid, where I was like, oh, I can like individually identify all these things. And it was okay. Anyways, that didn't last for too long. I got to this point where
here it comes.
I'm just going to preface this. It did get bad, but overall it was such an amazing experience. I want to say that first.
When you say bad, like how did you feel when it was
so I'm going to describe it. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this guy and I look up and so it's just like one point to the next. There was no real break. It felt, and this is another thing I want to say before I say this. There was time just seemed to not exist, right? So this is the thing. This DMT is the thing that like you can smoke, whatever. People all do all this crazy shit, but This is the thing that your body dumps a bunch into your like body when you're dying. So you're kind of unaware of certain things. So point is, your unawareness to time, like time is just out the window. You don't, I don't know if it's been 10 minutes or fucking the whole day, and you don't even care.
Because like, you know, like when people die, they say that like DMT is released into the body, into the brain, and like they can relive every single like highlight and thought in their fucking entire life in like a matter of a few seconds.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
confused.
really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I didn't
so
know that
so
either.
when people smoke DMT pens, that's what's going on in their head.
Well, everything is so unique. You can't say it's exactly
Okay.
what's
It's not gonna be
happening.
the same experience for everyone, right?
Yeah, but for the most part, like I'm just saying, your reference of time, it just becomes like completely gone, and it just, you feel this like it just doesn't even matter. Like you don't even worry that there's no time. You don't even have a connection to the need of time. It's a very weird thing. Next thing I know, after this, like, you know, that my thoughts are like that, and I'm kind of chilling. I'm like, and there was at one point where before this kind of went bad, I walk outside. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like looking like normal kind of mushroom feel where like, you know, I'm looking at like the ground looks like it's making all these faces kind of. I'm looking at these trees and I'm like, feel like I could talk to these trees in the back. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, why do we do this shit to ourselves? Like, why do we make everything so difficult for ourselves? I even wrote this thing, which I should read it later. But anyways, I wrote this while I was high as fuck on ayahuasca basically.
Why did you turn into fucking goddamn?
Yeah, so listen. I'm outside. Yeah, no, I did. I wrote some like bar shit. I was like, yo, this is dope. When I read it, and I was like, well, that made sense. But anyways, I'll try and read that. I'm sitting outside. This is before shit hits the fan. And I'm like looking at these trees and I'm like, damn. And I'm like talking to myself, a little tear because I'm thinking about like holding on to shit. And but at that point, I'm like, this is really
Mild.
Exactly. I'm
You're
like,
this is when you were like saying that you like felt like I could do this.
exactly.
Okay.
I'm like, I can do this. This isn't a big deal. And I'm like, I'm chilling. This isn't what people say it
You know,
is.
you're like, that's it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, this isn't what people say it is.
I can do this every day.
It's not that intense. I'm like, this is easy. Like, this is all these pussies are like, it's so crazy. Don't do it, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was getting in my head because I tweeted and I put on my story. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And everyone's like, oh, bro, don't. Oh my God, it's so. Are you sure?
That would freak me out.
That's the
It
thing.
freaked me out.
But that you told me
I did. I told
afterwards,
you so.
after the trip, that most of the people that replied to your story, because you did post it on
Yeah.
Instagram, that most of the people that replied to your story were the most successful people.
The ones that were like, yo,
That
bro,
were like,
do it.
you should do it.
The like rich famous people were like,
so did that
trust
help
me.
you then?
That did. There was a point where I kind of recounted that in my mind, and then the other people, I would say, overall less like super successful people were like, be careful.
Yeah.
Most people were like, scary thoughts.
So going from
you
the
know?
trip from mild to
Because I don't know. If
so
I
let me
did that, that would
explain.
scare the shit out of me.
No, it did. It scared the fuck out of me. And
Like,
that was on my mind.
Because like when I tell people I'm gonna smoke weed, and they say no, I know you can't do it. I'm like, okay, well I'm not gonna do it then.
Yeah, but see,
It
so this
tripped
is
me
this is
out.
the thing I learned this. I'll get to this later. Like what I learned overall. Oh, perfect. He got it. So, anyways, so before shit hits the fan, okay, I'm sitting there. Thank you, bro. I'm sitting there, and I go back inside, and the guy's like, more. I'm like, yeah, this is easy. Of course I want more. I'm like, I want to go further. Okay. I don't even know how I got here, right? So I get to a point where I take this and I'm chilling for I don't know how long, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes digesting. Next thing I know, I just sit up and I'm thinking everything all at once. I'm stressed out about everything that I thought leading up to, like what would happen. Am I going to go crazy? All this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is it.
0 to 100 real quick.
0 to 100. I was like, I ruined myself. And then my thoughts now just start going like, you know, I said they were clear earlier. These bitches are ping ponging like nonstop. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm that guy that went crazy taking this drug, and this is going to be my reality now. And I'm like, why did I do this? How did I get here? All these things. And I'm looking at this guy like, how did I get here? Why? And he's like, you wanted this? What do you mean? So I'm like tripping, and my thoughts are just going just erratic at this point. And it was very uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. And then I started to get like real physical anxiety, because I tend to when I get actually anxious. Because I've like showed up to the ER many times, like younger. I haven't been to the ER in you know, fucking knock on wood, in like, I'm not trying to show up to that bitch in like years at this point. But I used to go all the time because I'm like, I'm going to die. I just had this crazy idea that I was going to die. And it's related to obviously stuff in my childhood and my dad taking his life and all this stuff. But so now my mind's going crazy and I cannot stop it. Like there is zero stopping. Remember I was talking last time. This is a thing that basically the thoughts or the stresses or the struggles or the traumas, the things that like maybe you've buried for fucking time in your life, it literally makes all those things just like right here in your face, and you cannot look away.
You can't escape.
You can't look away. And it's like no matter how hard I tried to look away, it was just like following.
It was
me.
just so apparent that you couldn't even like look away.
And I had to,
even if you tried.
and I had to deal with it. I was forced to deal with it. And I'm not gonna lie, as frightening and as scary as it was, because so much of me was like, yo, I just want this shit to go down just a little bit because it's too much, and I don't like the way that I feel.
It didn't even stop.
It didn't stop, but I started to realize, I was like, this is why I came. This was the point. The point was to get over that fear, the fear that I have about dying, the fear that I have about being worthy, being good enough. All my fears were culminating to like, because I got to a point where first thing that hit me was I'm going to die, right? And I don't want to die. And am I going to take my life? My father took his life when he was this age, and I'm this age. Am I going to take my life? I'm only a few years away from that. All these thoughts in my mind, and they're coming like that fast. And then I'm like, well, but then what is being alive? Like, am I dying now? Is this killing me now? Am I dying? And I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, I keep going down this thought, and I'm like, well, I get to this point where I start to realize, like, because I'm going in so many circles that I'm like, okay, like the only way to relax myself is to start answering these questions. What happens if I die? And if I die, like, then what?
What was your answer to that?
What happens if I die?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like it was okay. So this is the thing I want to get into. The first thing I started to realize after, this didn't happen in my trip. I started to realize, like, yeah, in the trip, but then also like it got like affirmed after, was like the idea of death for me has always scared me, like I told you. And this was the only time in my life that I've ever been like, it's okay. It has to be okay. Because it's a thing that no matter how afraid we are of it, I know this. And this is the thing that I learned. I know this, you know this, every single person listening to this knows this. It is fucking inevitable. You're going to die. And I know that.
You know what's weird?
Hold on. The difference between knowing that and fucking feeling that, two different things. On this drug, I felt it. I was like, I felt the idea to myself that I know that I'm going to die. And at the same time, that it was okay. And I've never been able to just feel okay about it. I would run from it. I'd run from it. I'd rationalize like why it's, and then.
So do you think that the reason why that you always ran from was because of your dad?
It's because of the unknown, because I don't know. Right. So this is the thing I'm going to get into that more. The thing that I started to realize was like, okay, but I'm not dead right now because I'm having these thoughts. So what is the point of living? Right. That's the thing that I kept coming back to. And then I started to get really emotional. I don't want to get emotional on this podcast. I got really emotional because then I'm like, oh, fuck. I started to realize, because you go like, okay, what's the point then of living? And what does living mean? And like, what's the purpose of it? Like, then if I'm so afraid of dying, what's the purpose here now? Because I'm not dead, right? And I'm like, I'm affirming this to myself. And then I start to go, well, it's love. And love is the most important thing, right? And because I know that, and I've always thought that. And then I think to myself, do I fully love myself? Have I fully loved myself? Do I allow love in my, and I start to realize like, I haven't done that. Like for so long, I haven't done that because I'm afraid of allowing someone to be too close to me in my life and then leaving my life. Because in relationship to my father, I the idea of losing, right? So then I would like feel afraid to allow people fully into my life in conversation, in business, in friendships, and everything. Like allow them all the way in. And then I realized I was like, wait, but if I'm so afraid of dying, like the idea of not living in love and not living and allowing myself to love, that's a version of death. Already. Yeah. Like if you lived your whole life and you don't give love and you don't experience love, and if you don't lose love,
aren't you already dead?
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you? There's no point in living.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, who would miss me? And I'm thinking about the people who would miss me, or who would I miss? And so then I think about all the people in my life that I truly love and that I feel like truly love me, instead of thinking about the people that I know don't love me, that I know have taken advantage of me. Because I had this moment where I'm like, people take advantage of me and people just want money and people want clout and all this shit because of like all the other experience that I'm dealing with in my life. All that shit is coming up. And then I'm like, but what about the people who really love me? Right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like fucking crying to this guy. He's trying to like calm me down, like in Spanish. And I swear I'm like understanding everything he's saying at this point.
Does
like,
he understand you?
I have no idea, dude. He knows that I'm stressing.
Maybe it's the drug that made you think that you understand.
Bro,
I have no idea. That's pretty fucking wild to me.
Anyway, so
you don't speak Spanish, and
no, I actually kind of understand Spanish.
Imagine
I do genuinely.
Loki knows Spanish.
All the girls I've ever dated all speak Spanish, so I kind of understand Spanish. Anyways. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, okay, the people that I really love, right? I thought of Jacob. I thought of Steve. He's sitting back here. I thought of my mom. I thought of Bam. I thought of the people close in my life. And then I'm thinking like, well, I don't tell those people I love them enough. I don't let those people know how much I appreciate them because I'm afraid. And then I'm like, well, because I'm afraid, I'm not going to then live my life.
Afraid of what? Are you afraid to tell people you love them? I don't.
So it's the idea of like being too afraid to let someone know how much you appreciate them. And this is the craziest thing that makes no sense, right? And this is what I started to realize. To let someone know that you truly appreciate them, because if you do, they're just going to leave you. They're just going to leave me. Not because I let them know that.
I feel that.
But just because that's how people are, and that's how I've been taught my whole life, that people just leave you no matter how much you love them.
Because the people that you've loved in the past.
And who have left
out.
me. And people who have taken advantage of me, people who have used me, people who have done everything in their power to take, and then leave. And use me for their benefit and leave, right? So my fear is like, it's protecting that. Like, I don't want to allow that. I don't want allowed to. But then I also realize now I'm not even doing that for the people that genuinely love and show me that they love me through their actions. Show me that they love me through the work that they do.
You know what's crazy too is that I did say this in the last podcast, but I got to bring it up again.
What?
Because when we came back from zoo, I knew Brad was a little bit different because
holy fuck, all of us did.
Dude, me, Nate, Silby, we all walk up because we go to zoo every single morning. We work, right?
Every day.
So we pull up there and we meet up with Brad and we shoot shit, right?
Yeah.
We walk in, we're in the parking lot, and Brad's sitting in the middle of the parking lot. Motherfucker's just on the phone. I don't even know what the fuck he was doing, dude. But we all walk in and we all kind of like look at each other, me, Nate, and Chris, and we're like, why does this motherfucker look weird? You know? We're like, why does he look different? And we all just start laughing.
You had a glow. You had
and
a glow
like this motherfucker literally had a glow, bro. Like it was like a
straight halo. It was like a halo over your head.
It was so weird. The motherfucker was like glowing.
The picture
in
I
white.
took of you is fucking hilarious.
Like Jesus.
I might make it my Abby on Instagram.
That shit was crazy. I remember like after that, like he went inside. He was on the phone. He was talking on the phone, and usually he's like just not in the greatest mood when he's on the phone because it's like some bullshit negativity.
Business shit.
But this dude is on the phone, and he's like, I don't know who he's on the phone with, but he was extremely positive. He's like, hey, man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate you, man. And he goes outside. He's like walking, like fucking got a little skip
you had a little
step.
Yeah, you had a strut
Bro,
to you.
Straight up. I was like, what in the fuck is going on? And I looked at Nate and Chris, and I was like, this is not normal, bro. This is not normal.
We were like,
this
wait.
is not normal
He
at
was like-
all.
he was like-
I'm kind of concerned. I think we just lost Bradley Martyn.
He's still tripping, I think.
Yeah, I was like, bro, he's still tripping for sure. And then he pulls me outside, and he's like, dude, I got it. Because he was telling the story to everyone.
Yeah.
That was at the front at the zoo, right? So all the coworkers. And he goes, yo, Jake, I got to tell you something real quick. Pulls me outside, and he starts talking about his whole ayahuasca trip, how great it was, blah, blah, blah. And like, then this motherfucker tells me he loves me, and I was like, damn. That's dope. Because like I've been working for so long, and I appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
I was
Jacob,
like, damn, dude. Because I would work so hard, and then Brad would just be like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude.
Dope.
Good job.
Yeah.
Now, I remember
But it was never like, dude, this is dope. It was sick. Like, it was never like
I
nothing.
dealt
But like,
with all those phone calls. He would call me all the time when you guys were out in Miami or like traveling somewhere. He would call me like, yeah, I made this hard ass video, but like I don't know, like I think Brad doesn't.
It was
fuck
just-
with
it
me.
was just a
He'd be like,
trip.
he'd be like, I don't think Brad fucks with me. So the fact that you sat there and told him that you love them, his everything he's ever done for you had a meaning to
I was
it.
like, damn, well, that's sick to hear the appreciation, you know? Like,
Well, it's the truth, man.
And it does, like you said, like the whole reason why you did it, and like you refused to love and like exiled everyone, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
that just showed me in that moment. I was like, damn, like maybe he
does care about me.
Does, he did change a little
Well,
bit.
it's the thing is, the thing about it is, I know that I always have, right? I've always appreciated that. I've always appreciated you because you were never someone that came in and you never appeared to me as someone you were just taking. Because most people I notice after a while, I'm like, oh, they're just coming in trying to take, and then they fucking dip, and they're trying to just use the benefit on their own somewhere else, right? You never gave me that vibe. It was my problem to not be able to say, yo, I appreciate you though. Because like Steve, same thing. Like I can't tell you how many times I told Steve I love him on like probably all on one fucking hand. And I've known him for like fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
So the same thing I told the night before I came in to talk to you, I told Steve, I was like, bro, I just want to let you know that like I love you, like genuinely. And it's just it was in a practice for me because like I said, the fear that like the more that I give, I just felt like someone's gonna run away. But then I started to realize that's not living. Yeah. That's not me being alive. That's not me enjoying my life.
So then do you think that if you never did this drug, you would ever have realized that?
That's the thing. And that's the thing I keep going back to. I've known that. right? This is the thing about this drug, this medicine, I want to call it. This is the thing that I'm really, really understanding. And to be fair, I want you guys to understand this stuff has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's not some like hippie shit that some motherfucker in Venice made. I joke about that. But like cultures have been using this kind of stuff forever. And this has
for a variety of different things,
tons
like
of different
depression,
reasons,
anxiety,
all this kind of shit, and it's good for you health wise too.
Yeah.
So it's just like it became this. It's taboo because it's not an SSRI from a fucking doctor, and they're giving you a pill to rely on for the rest of your life and make money off of it. It's different. But these things are actually they've even shown like so many studies that like this shit is so beneficial to people. Even mushrooms and all this shit now are finally getting kind of okay because maybe they're probably going to be able to put their hand in it, make some fucking money. But they're starting to allow these things to actually treat anxiety and depression, all these things because you have to understand this too. All drugs, all pharmaceuticals that we know are all also just derivative of plants and extracts, and they're just made a different way to like become this pharmaceutical. But it comes from plants. All this shit comes from plants. Yeah. So anyways, the reason why, like, to answer your question, it's the difference between knowing something, like I said, and feeling it. And this was the only time that I was able to, like with those thoughts and the haywireness of the thoughts, I felt everything. Like if I was afraid, and it wasn't just like here in my mind, it was very physical.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. Like when you say that, you know how people say like, oh, they're like, I know I'm gonna be successful. I know I'm gonna have X amount of money, or
I felt this way when I was young. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But do you think there's a difference between knowing it and feeling it, and what are the differences? That?
So this is the same thing when we talk about intention, and you talk about intention a lot. You guys joke and whatever and shit about him, but my whole life, remember we talked about it last time. I always felt like that. I always felt like, yo, I'm going to do more than this. I always knew it. I didn't know what the fuck it was. I was like talking to people, and I would tell people, like I got on the phone with my buddy the other day, my buddy Ryan. We used to train when I was like 16, 17, and I would always tell him like, bro, I'm going to do this. Like I know that. And before, this was when I was 16, 17.
Was that like a feeling, or was it more like just a mental kind of thing? You're just like,
it was a fucking feeling. It was because
you can't really explain it, right?
Yes, because there was no direction. When I was 16 years old, there was no Instagram. There was no one doing fucking YouTube. There was nothing that I do today existed.
Yeah.
Right? Except maybe people on talk shows on like TV, right? So there was no like direction. It was just this thing in me that I would tell people, and I believe so truthfully, like in my heart, like in my body, I felt it that like there's more. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna own a gym. I'm gonna be great.
Because that's what it seems like whenever like we go to do podcasts with successful people, or if I'd taken some time and watched some podcasts of like some celebrity or an interview or something. They always say the same thing, is that like when they were a kid, you really can't explain. It's like a feeling that you get, that you know deep down inside that like you might do something great, or you know that you're going to do something great. You can't explain it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's a feeling or a thought, or maybe it's a combination of both. But
yeah.
Every single time
it's
weird, dude, because like everyone that I know that is successful, everyone that you see on TV, like most of them have said that.
And I want
to talk about this too, because a lot of people might hear this and be like, well, I don't have that feeling, right? I don't know that feeling, right? And I think the thing that's really important, I think most people who get to that point, or to have that feeling, there's something else in their life that's some sort of trigger. Like there's some sort of either trauma or some sort of like issue going on in their life that makes them stop and think. Because for me, it was like when I'd walk to school and I'd walk through the cut, everyone like people would smoke weed and shit like before you go to school. I don't know if they call that shit back where the cut. You know what I'm saying? Why him? Because he's from the Bay. You're from the Bay. If you're from the Bay, that's where I'm from. It's not a gang member thing, dude. I'm saying it's not a gang member joke.
No, we just call it Little Mexico.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, did they use that slang?
We wouldn't call it the cut. Like
they would call it the rails.
The rails?
No, see me, yes. But in the Bay, nah, we just had little spots like we'd go to the aqueducts because
whatever. Fuck the aqueducts, all this shit. Anyways, the point is this.
Sorry.
I'm walking. No, you're good. I'm walking to school. I would walk to school and I would like sit in like where everyone would smoke in the cut, right? And then so people weren't there. It wasn't like teachers and shit were there. It was like away from school but far enough that like you could chill. And I'd like walk through this and I'd like sit there like in the morning by myself and just fucking cry. Right? I would cry about my life. I'd cry about my circumstance. I'd cry about my dad. I'd cry about what is this? What's the purpose? Like I was so obsessed with trying to figure out what the purpose of life was and why am I here? Why is my dad not here? Why do these other kids have dads? How come my life is this way? All these questions. And I question this shit so much every day, every single day that I'm trying to figure something out that technically you can't really just go, here's the answer, right? So I spent so much time trying to figure this shit out that I think all people who end up coming to that point where they're like, yo, I just know something's different. There's something that like happened that I think like, or some people are just built like that.
Yeah.
They just believe there can be more.
Like, taking the time out of the day in whatever traumas or experiences that you have throughout your life, and being like, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing because of your circumstances and because of the things that you've experienced in your life.
And so here's what it comes down to: being able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Being able to be vulnerable, not necessarily with other people, but with yourself. So not enough people are able to be vulnerable with themselves because it's scary, because it's uncomfortable, because it doesn't feel good. Like being able to go like, okay, this happened to me. How does this make me feel? Instead of just like, fuck you, this is your fault. The outward, push it away. It's your fault. It's not
the
me.
scariest thing is just like really like looking in yourself, looking
Addressing
within
yourself.
yourself, and then like looking at the things and like you said, addressing it and being like, okay, well, this is what it is. This is like, through my experiences, I think that everyone's a piece of shit because of this experience.
Yeah. And then trying to
like,
unpack that shit.
Exactly. And like trying to learn from it.
And just
Not
letting
everyone's
it
willing.
go.
Yeah,
So
like,
that's
not
why-
willing to put in the work to do it.
Exactly. So that's what's so powerful about this is like, you don't just take this drug and then you just go, you're cured. But what I said earlier, which is so significant about it, is you take this, and like I said, the most important thing that happened in this whole experience for me was the fact that all my problems were put right in front of my face, and I couldn't look away, and I had to deal with it. And like I had to ask myself the questions, every question around it, and I didn't have a choice to look away. And that's what this comes down to is like, you're supposed to be afraid of that. That's not supposed to be easy. Same reason why people go to therapy for years, because they're trying to be able to be comfortable with going through their problems, and they just have someone else and they're leading them through it, and then they're trying to figure it out and make sense of it and figure it out and make sense of it. This shit literally is like, it's like a crash course where it's like, here it is, motherfucker.
So
you got to figure this out.
Deal with
it.
Yeah.
And bro, being forced to deal with things sometimes is the fucking way. Like, I'm not saying it's the way for everyone. I'm not saying everyone's ready for this.
I'm scared of it.
And that's okay. And I was afraid of it.
Yeah.
But if you feel like, yo, I've tried to have these conversations, I've tried to have this therapy, I've tried to do this, I've tried all these things, this shit will literally slap you in the face with it, and you'll put it right
so
here.
do you think that like taking the drug is basically mentally, physically, spiritually, like showing you to be uncomfortable?
It shows you your true self.
Yeah, because
It's
that's
not-
uncomfortable as fuck.
Exactly. For a lot of people, depending on what you have built up around your ego and how you should be, or people should treat you, or how you should show up and people should accept you. And it's all based around this
like,
shit.
Speaking on that, like the comfortability thing is like probably one of my biggest fears in life
Yeah.
is being comfortable.
Being comfortable. Being too
comfortable.
comfortable.
Being
Yeah.
too comfortable.
Well, that's how you know that you're not doing enough.
Yeah,
I feel
it's like, because I remember at one time in my life, I was just like so comfortable and being held back by other things and blaming other people for the reason why I wasn't where I was at.
Yeah.
And like, I just got fed up with being comfortable because
Something's not right if you're comfortable.
yeah, like if you're comfortable, I feel like you got to like put yourself and give yourself a reason to be uncomfortable. Right.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put yourself in uncomfortable positions, like you said, you don't know, what is it? You said you don't know good unless there's bad.
Yeah. Like I was saying the last time we did this, I mean, that's the truth, man. Like in general and all, is like, if I can't experience like terrible things in my life or amazing things in my life, but vice versa, you don't know the difference. So everyone is so
Trying to pick the middle, I guess.
well, people are so trying to feel good. Everyone wants to feel good, right? That's our goal. Humans want to feel good. I want to feel accepted. I want to feel loved. I want to feel good. Everyone wants that. We're all searching for that, whether it be through like trying to make money or trying to like have a business and all these representations that are external and that are showing us, oh, that guy is success and that guy's great and that guy's fucking successful or he's a good guy,
I feel
whatever.
Like not everyone's willing and okay with being in a negative mindset or being in a
Well,
in
it's
that
not that
shitty mindset.
It's not that you have to be in it. It's that you do have to go through it.
Yeah.
Like you have to know that it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. You have to know that it is going to be fucking difficult. You have to know that like you're going to cry, you're going to feel bad, and accept it. That's the difference, because people were so like outwardly living our lives now through social media and all that stuff, where it's like you're looking at examples and you're looking like, why don't I have this and why don't I have that? People don't look inside. They're not contemplating themselves to go through the issues, to go through their problems, and they expect things to be good because they look at that guy's life and they go, that guy's, he's my age and he has this car and he has this house and he has it figured out. And it's like, first of all, that has fucking zero to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. What's going on inside here? Yeah. That's how you get there. So people are so afraid to deal with the negative shit.
Yes.
Exactly.
What do you think that if you could give advice to some kids out there that are in that negative mindset and they can't get out of it, right?
Stay in it a little longer.
That's the thing, but like some kids resort to just being like, I'm gonna off myself. I can't even deal with this anymore.
Okay, so
you're in such a deep, dark place. Like,
if we're talking about
what would
that,
you do and give kids advice to be like, you know what, like, how do I get myself out of this shit?
So I bet you're talking about suicide.
Exactly.
I've been there. I've thought of this. So I can relate to this. Here's the deal, right? Number one thing to do is to realize, and it's going to sound stupid because right away kids are going to be like, oh, yeah, I know that. There is always more, right? If you're breathing, you have the ability to change your circumstances. As difficult as it feels, as tough as it feels, it's hard to do this, but like we're saying, the minute that you could start to realize that all this negative shit that I'm going through in my life, all these problems in my life, all this shit that makes me feel like I'm not good enough, that girl doesn't love me, my father left me, no one cares about me, all these thoughts, all this shit is energy.
Yeah.
Even though it's all perceived bad. It's all negative. It all hurts your heart. It makes you want to cry. It makes you want to quit. It makes you want to say, fuck this life. Fuck that. I wish I had this. I should have that. That guy, fuck him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. All this shit. Take that energy. Keep taking it. Stay in it longer. And accept it. Now, once you can accept that, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what's going on in my life. I feel like shit. I want to end my life. Maybe you've contemplated. You thought about ways of doing it, right? Step away from all the things you thought were important. The things you thought you should do, someone said you should do. Take some time away from all the things. Like, give yourself a week. Because if you're at that point where you're going to end your life, fuck work, fuck school, fuck all this shit. Fuck first. Everything. Walk away from everything and everyone and just spend time with yourself.
Yeah. And
ask yourself genuinely, like, is that really going to make it better, ending it? Just because you think you want it, I've had enough. And this is the thing. It's like with kids, right? Or younger adults. Like, how do you even know you've had enough? Like, you don't even know your bandwidth yet. Yeah. Like we were talking after, this is a sidetrack, but after even just, for example, Sylvia, you could relate to this. After the whole Black month, the Black Friday month shit, right? Mm-hmm. You doing all this extra work. You're like, yo, I didn't even realize how much I was capable of workload until I was forced to do it, right? We don't even realize how capable we are until we fucking go through it. So you can't be in it and say, I'm ending this shit.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. You don't have to keep doing all this shit. Take a break, fucking walk away. But then sit there and ask yourself, like, is it really worth it?
Because, like, I always, sometimes in my head, because I've already experienced, like, the positive and the negatives, like my lows and highs in life, sometimes I wish that bad things would happen in order for me to grow from them. Yeah. And be more wiser or be a more positive person.
I mean, this is what it is.
And it's like really fucked up. You would think like everyone wants their life to always be fucking sunshines and rainbows.
But you're not. It's not supposed to. Listen, I go back to what we were just saying is like everything in my life that I have, the fact that I could sit here and give you any of this perspective about suicide, about loss of my father and how I've related to that and how it's affected all my relationships, how it's made me like at points a very cold individual where I'm not able to give love, where I feel like I fucked up all my relationships. I've ousted people out of my life that I should have kept in my life. I've done all the negative shit you can think of. Yeah. I would not have dick to say. I wouldn't have shit to say. None of this would mean anything if I didn't go through that. So everything good in my life I have, all the good, all the love, all the appreciation, all the people who've said, yo, when you talked about this, I appreciate it. All the people who told me like, yo, I didn't kill myself because I watched this and I saw that you could do it. And if you could do it, you made me feel like I could do it. All those people, all those interactions, bro, it's thousands. There's people, there's a dude that I talk about a few times that this guy was like going to take pills and now he has a daughter and he says thank you every year. It's his daughter's birthday and he sends me pictures of her like how she would.
We met him at the expos.
Yeah. Like this guy, he would have been dead. And his daughter has a father. So all these things that I get to experience is because I experienced absolute fucking negative bullshit where I didn't like my life. I didn't want to be alive. I was unhappy with everything in my life. I was unhappy with my circumstances in my life. But that's the only reason why I could say shit. That's the only reason why I have anything good to give in this world. That's why I have all the success that I have to be genuine. Because when I sat in those lines at those expos and I talked to people, no one was like, yo, bro, I fucking bought this shit because they're wearing all my clothes, all the being fit gear before it was raw gear. No one was like, bro, I bought this because you jumped out of the pool. It was so sick, dude.
Yeah, I feel like no one.
The guy was like, bro, I love you because you talked about this. You made me look at like this. When you talked about your father, you made me want to connect with my dad more. You made me not want to kill him. All this shit.
Because then you see a lot of these influencers online. Like, I feel like everyone's doing the same shit because they see that everyone is doing it and being successful at it. But I think the true way to actually be successful is being genuine, right?
And no one's being genuine anymore.
And I feel like a lot of the
people like you, because like that's the main reason why they're buying your shit. It's because you're genuine, not because of the pool jumping shit. because you're not copying everybody's trends and doing what that person's
And so-
doing.
and-
Because you're just doing what you do because of everything you've been through.
Exactly. And so then what it comes down to, right? So I feel like I have a responsibility to myself to be a better version of myself and to continue to like try to encourage people to be better versions of themselves. Like straight up, that's why I'm so afraid of this shit. But I'm like, but I need it. I need it for myself because I need to evolve in my life. Maybe I can give some perspective to someone watching this shit. Like all the success I said literally in my life I have is because of the negative shit. So we go back to that concept. There is no good without bad. You would never, like imagine if everything in your life was perfect. You wouldn't even know what it was. You wouldn't know that it's perfect.
You wouldn't be able to sit and fucking
Well, you wouldn't
elaborate
know.
on
I mean,
anything.
bro,
You wouldn't even know anything.
Not
about
even just that. It would mean nothing. You got to understand this. If you woke up every day and it was just perfect, every day, imagine this. You would not know what perfect is. It would become null.
There's no experience in that.
You would not. That's not living. That is not being alive. Like every day was the same thing, bro. That's not being alive. You're in a fucking program.
So then what if it's like, well, all you know is negative, only negative?
Then it's time. Like I said, you got to sit in
That
it.
shit's crazy.
It's harder to get out of too.
That is. It's supposed to be. I'm gonna read this thing now. This has to do with this. This is the thing I wrote when I was on ayahuasca.
How were you even able to write?
Yeah.
Bro, first and foremost, let me tell you, I got a pen in my hand. And I swear to God, I'm writing. I'm like this, and I'm thinking like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to read this later. That's how fucking crazy it was.
I've taken shrooms like on my birthday, and I've tried to write some shit down. Like I wanted to make a video treatment for a music video. I'm like, I have hella ideas right now. I'm like writing shit down. I'm like writing numbers and shit. I'm like, this doesn't make any type of sense.
They know about drugs and shit. I don't know any about that. So
But it's
that's
not
why
even-
I'm like learning from you as talking. But like, I don't know.
Can we talk about the craziest drug trips you ever had?
I mean, this is it.
That's the highest one?
This is the craziest drug I've ever taken
what
in my
about
life.
the most horrible one?
Well,
We already done that one.
that was the fucking story with Summer and fucking taking the fucking
Oh
edibles.
yeah, he said that. Right.
What about you? What's your craziest drug story?
Sorry, mom. Sorry, dad.
I know for a fact
He's
that
like, I did blow off a male stripper's dick.
Okay, that's
No.
pretty
Sorry.
crazy.
Okay.
Sylvie's
I'm not
parents, I
gonna-
know for a fact are gonna watch this shit.
I'm not
cares?
gonna lie.
That's funny.
There's this thing called Escape. It's a music festival, EDM music festival. But we took, I think, Molly or ecstasy or something.
I've never taken any of that.
And me and my friend are like always feeling the same. Me and him are fucking on one. All of a sudden, I start hallucinating really bad. I'm looking at the lineup. It has like a whole snake around it. It's moving.
Nice.
And I was like, holy fuck. I put my phone away. I was like, can't do this right now.
Don't look at the phone.
Yeah.
Not good.
And then we went to see this guy. I mean, you probably know who he is, but I'm sure a lot of people know Excision. And
Excision.
and it's crazy.
Oh, it's
like,
fucked up. It's
Just
absolutely like, I hate that kind of music.
Like
by the
Steve's
way.
laughing
The
too.
fuck is Excision?
Don't worry about it.
I hate that kind of music. It's literally like
The house.
No, it's hard dubstep. Like
Okay.
a lot of people love that stuff. I do not like it.
I hate
we
that
wanted
shit.
to go for the experience, I think.
just because
All right.
he's big as fuck. He's like the biggest of that
Let's
genre.
hear it.
But
Yeah.
continue.
We can
And-
I'll play a song really
and-
quickly. Oh, it's fucking. Hold on.
And I'm looking at Nate, and his jaw is like deformed.
Nice.
I'm tripping.
No, it's
And
because I was
this
just rolling.
So
so
you were
big.
on mushrooms.
No. I was on Molly or ecstasy. We took something, and like I'm tripping.
You saw
like,
his jaw?
like his
deformed?
jaw looked like it was a fucking dinosaur, bro.
So you weren't just on Molly or ecstasy. You were
No,
on-
I don't know what the fuck it was, but bro.
Yeah.
And then this music was in the background. And it was just 10
Wait,
times
I was
worse. Yeah. I remember you. Nate had this like a bait mask. It had like a jaw, like you know what I'm talking about? The ones that we had.
the pink
The
dolphin
pink
ones.
one. The pink
Oh,
golf
yeah,
one. It
yeah,
had like
yeah.
a little face on it with like teeth, but he had it under here, bro. And I am fucking going crazy. I tell my friend, I'm like, I need to get out of here. We were only in there for like 10 minutes, and I'm fucking like, I had to leave, whatever, blah blah blah.
You've
Nate
taken
was in there.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
but it was different. And then I went to go see 21 Savage, and I was fine.
on the same experience.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Must
But-
have kind of peaked and came down.
21.
No.
Do some for
Yeah,
me.
okay. All right, hold on. Let me read this.
Anybody
real
who
quick.
drives around with that song is definitely sus.
Fuck it. So let me read this real quick before we get into the rest of this. So I wrote this high on
passage.
ayahuasca. Like literally, this is a passage. This is.
Bradley Martin. 3
It felt like an Instagram caption that I would write, to be honest.
Let's hear it.
So it's crazy. Wow. Listen. Okay. We hold on to so much we don't allow ourselves to heal. Why? Why do we do it all to ourselves? I think it's because it's easier this way to stop ourselves from going deeper into ourselves.
Flips the page.
Yes. Pain. And I felt like I had to flip the page because when I was writing, I felt like I couldn't write more for some reason on this page. Anyways, pain shouldn't stop us. pain should allow us to move forward because pain means you felt.
Holy shit, that was a poem.
Yeah.
That was gonna. Whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You got bars,
Poet,
fool.
bruh.
Dude.
Yo.
I write for Drake sometimes. Anyways, the point is this.
Can you do something for me?
This is the thing that I realized, right? Was like the whole, like we're talking about this. The whole point of everything in life is to experience pain, is to experience love, is to experience loss. All of this is supposed to happen. So when you talk about the kid who's talking about ending his life, he's stuck in a moment where he thinks there's nothing else. So he's willing to end his life. Like my dad was probably stuck in a moment where he feels like this is it. But there is always so much more.
Yeah.
It's just how much longer can you sustain?
You just
Are
gotta
you
push
willing?
through it.
Yeah, are you willing to go through it? And it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be extremely fucking excruciating. It's supposed to be extremely hard. But if you get through that, imagine how much more now you have for the rest of the world, for the people in your life. Fuck, like you don't need to be social media famous, none of this shit. Just for people in your circle to have conversations with.
Yeah.
Because like I would have these kind of conversations. Like I was talking about my boy Ryan earlier, way before the fucking internet, I would have conversations like this. Before I even had all this life experience, people fucking me over, me getting all this kind of shit, right? And I just keep being reminded that this is what it is. This is what this human experience is to experience pain, it's to experience love, it's to go through it.
That's
And
what
to
I
not
always
give
thought.
up. You can't just give up.
That's it.
I always
Don't ever
thought
give up.
I always thought that since I was a kid was like life is just one giant experience. Like,
It
and
is.
I remember like one of my New Year's resolutions, because me and Nate and Sylvie would write down like New Year's resolutions every year, and one of them was to experience as many things as I could in 1 year,
That's dope.
just as many as I could, because I feel like that's the only thing that I can do.
And that was like the same year you like started to do your video stuff, right?
Yeah,
So let's talk about that real quick. So just before we get into more of this podcast, I gotta say, so Jacob's worked for me the longest, and then he brought Sylvie, and then Nate came. These guys though have known each other since they were like fucking high school. Like
Yeah. When I first moved to Simi Valley, that's where whenever I moved here, I just always was friends with everybody, and I just became friends with his girlfriend at the time, and then I became friends with him, close friends at least, because I knew him before that, and then
I was friends with you in like 8th grade or something.
yeah.
I'm just glad you motherfuckers know how to work hard. Cause like,
Actually, we knew each other since middle school.
it would
Yeah.
suck to
High
fire
school.
you guys because Jacob got you on. You know, you
Yeah.
guys are hard workers.
I don't think we'd ever be a
Nah.
problem.
No, you guys are
But,
solid.
like, I feel like
I was afraid at first. I'm not gonna lie.
that's the thing that like
you never know.
the people that you surround yourself with are super important. I think.
Jacob's really good with that type of shit.
Yeah, I think-
I've already noticed that if Jacob likes you, it's for a reason. Like
Well-
that's it. Jacob's fucking circle is like this.
Yeah. So let's talk about how it came about, right? Because like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to work for Brad or whatever, want to work for Rocky or whatever, right? Talk about how it came about, how you got the job, and then how like you brought them on.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was we'll take it back like 2 years ago, I guess.
And because it sounds like they were kind of a part about you even not getting the job, but like putting yourself in the position to get
Well,
the
yeah,
job.
to even get the opportunity or
Yeah.
to even get the job. So when I was in high school, I didn't really know them. And I remember when they first started, when I first met them, it was like sophomore year of high school. I barely had even really picked up a camera. The only thing that I had ever filmed was like small skits and just like filming stupid Halo Reach videos when I was
That's
a
lit.
kid.
That's lit,
Because that's all. I just wanted to do it because I thought it was fun. And it was
Yeah.
just fun to entertain other people. And I met them in high school, like sophomore year, because of some girl that I talked to.
Hold on, really quick. Best Halo of all time. Two.
Halo 3.
Two?
That's when you got the
Say
double
two.
SMGs.
Yeah,
Best
bro.
Halo ever.
That
That
went
Halo
off.
Reach good?
Halo Reach was good, but like,
You're sus.
it
If you like
wasn't
Halo
like-
Reach, if that's your favorite
Or
one, you're
Ghost.
sus.
but like OG Halo 2 and 3, that's
yeah.
the debate.
Yeah.
I'm saying Halo 2.
Two's
But yeah,
first.
go
I
ahead.
like Halo 3. But regardless of that, I talked to this girl for like 5 years, and it basically brought me and them together because they were friends. And
We all worked at Albertsons
it was crazy
together.
too because like I didn't really have very much experience holding a camera.
This is the girl I took a picture with at 24 Hour Fitness once.
Yeah, exactly. And so I didn't really have much experience. I didn't have any experience actually at all holding a camera or editing or doing anything. And I remember they were in video production, and I
Yeah.
wasn't in the same class as them. And they were making like super sick short films. They made like one
But
of
were they super sick?
they, I
Well,
thought
at
they
the
were pretty
time,
cool.
at the
it was cool.
time.
For like high school
Don't
kids.
be hating on our shit, fool.
For like high
Let's watch your
school
old
kids.
YouTube videos. Let's talk about fucking trash videos.
Yo, that's because they just used to fucking get clips and put them together.
Well, guess
That was
what?
it.
We didn't do that. We tried.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
I know.
I admired that. Like I was like, damn, well, this is really dope. I've always wanted to make short films and shit because I barely even really watched anything to really
Yeah.
gain inspiration from. But they would do that, blah, blah, blah. And it was towards more like sophomore year that I like decided to pick up a camera and just start making YouTube videos because I was like, damn, well, this is dope.
Yeah.
This is super fun to me. and we would all hang out and just go shoot YouTube videos. At the end of sophomore year, I got broken up with, and I was so obsessed with like trying to put an effort into a relationship and putting energy and all this shit into this relationship that I would.
How many years were you together at that point?
5 years.
Okay.
It was like 5 years. This
Wait,
is going into like
sophomore year of college.
You mean senior year?
yeah, it was senior year of high school.
Oh.
So
yeah.
like going
Oh,
into
yeah,
like
yeah,
going
yeah.
into college is like when I got broken up with, and because
Why?
just comfortability,
Got it.
and so that's the reason why
You didn't get broken up with. You were the breaker upper.
No.
Oh.
no. Anyway,
I'm
regardless,
confused.
I got broken up with, right? So I was putting in so much time and energy and effort into like relationships and trying to like make shit work, and it was like the only thing that I knew how to do, and I knew that I wanted to do this type of work. I knew
Right.
that I wanted to do creative work. I know I wanted to be like a YouTuber or be an editor or anything in that realm.
Yeah.
And I just never put the time and effort because I was trying to focus it on other things like relationships.
Yeah.
Into this girl.
That's all he did.
That's all I wanted to do. I didn't even fucking hang out with them at all. And like
You know-
I saw them like living the life that I
just
wanted
want to make
start.
before we continue. We're going to continue, but I want to just listen to that point really quick. What you were focusing on was that
was
girl,
just
right?
the relationship.
Okay, good.
The girl, right?
Keep going.
And I didn't know that I was being held back, right? And I was just like, well, shit. It didn't hit me until after the fact that the relationship was over.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, well, I want this girl so bad. I want to chase this girl so bad because I
That's the
like
only
her
thing
so
you knew.
much.
That's the only thing you knew.
That's all I knew. And so like I didn't really realize that I was not putting an effort and energy into the things that I actually really truly wanted to do.
Remember that.
I was being
Remember
blind.
that
I was
point.
being blindsided. Fast forward another year, I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. I was working at a gym at 24 Hour Fitness, and I hadn't picked up the camera. I was so depressed and down bad for like a year and a half about that relationship that I didn't even know what to do. I was making
Yeah.
YouTube videos with them, and they both helped me like kind of come out of like my super down depression
shit was
state.
hard. That shit
And if
was
it
hard,
wasn't
though.
for them, because Nate would go out and shoot during COVID. So this is around the COVID time,
Yeah.
and everyone was staying inside, and Nate was always going out to shoot music videos.
Yeah.
Right. And like, but he would always drag me out the house and be like, dude, let's fucking go film some shit.
Yeah.
even
good
if
friend.
even
Yeah.
if we weren't getting paid, like the first half of COVID, I was getting paid shit. Like I wanted to get paid, but I knew that's just not how it works. And like I remember I would try to make Sylvie come help me because I just wanted to help and I wanted my friends around and I wanted them to have content too.
Did you shave that before the podcast?
Yeah, why?
I'm just curious. I just realized it right now. I was like,
Why?
yeah. No, I'm just saying you like, yeah, it's dope.
Well, I was all fucking hairy. You didn't tell me we were doing a podcast today.
No, solid. That's good. We just on the
I
fly.
just-
Sorry.
okay, whatever. What the fuck? I lost my train of
No,
thought.
so during COVID, you were going out to work. You got Sylvie to go with you.
Yeah, and then it was a pain in the ass, but like I wanted my homies with me always, even if we weren't getting paid. Like it was just like I knew that it would benefit us in the future, even if, like I said, we weren't
He
getting paid.
did always say that.
And like I would have to like beg them to come out with me. During COVID, all gyms were closed besides yours, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's too far for us, and we weren't able to afford that yet. We were working out in his garage every day, and I'd be like, "Yo, I got this play for us tonight. Like, come with me, please. I'll drive us there. Just come with me."
I didn't even care to go because I was so depressed.
And then-
after this relationship.
His
Right,
and his parents
right.
are a little bit older, so he wanted to stay home to make sure that he didn't get sick because of his parents, and they're a
Well,
little.
they didn't
older.
let me go out.
And they didn't
I
let him
went
go
out.
out either.
Damn,
But
that's tough.
understandable. So like, I was sending it out to fucking COVID all the fucking time, and like during COVID all the time, and like shooting music videos in the studios with like certain artists and shit like that.
You were working during COVID no matter what.
No
And
matter
you wanted
what.
them to bring them apart.
And I had to like fight my parents about it, but like it,
Nate didn't even give a fuck, dude. He would just go out and just shoot his shit.
I didn't give a fuck either. straight
Yeah.
up.
But that's how it had to happen though. Like you weren't gonna make shit happen if you didn't give a fuck. And I was out. I was in LA, no traffic because of COVID, in 30 minutes.
That shit was amazing.
Yeah,
bro.
lit.
good.
It was
That was a crazy
fucking
time.
That was a
dude.
great time.
Crazy time.
But like I said, I wasn't making any type of money until like, I just fucking
Grinded it out.
grinded it out. There's at one point I wanted to quit because like it was just like, I'm not making any money. How am I supposed to fucking sustain and like live? Like I was still paying rent even though I was living with my mom, but like it wasn't a crazy amount, but I still wasn't able to afford that crazy amount. I still had insurance to pay and all that shit, but it was just like me pushing through all that and like showing them that like it was possible. Because I remember at one point he wanted to quit.
Yeah. So what happened was that I saw Nate like, really going out and making an effort to because when we were in middle school or when we were in high school, we all talked about how we wanted to like shoot videos. And like that was like what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And since I was a kid, it was like, well, damn, if I remember watching like Shane Dawson,
Yeah.
like 2007,
Holy
2000.
shit.
I was like 7 years old, dude.
Wow.
That was like some of the first YouTube videos I ever watched in my life. And I was like, well, damn, like if this guy's doing it, why can I do it?
Right.
And then like, YouTube started coming up, and then there was actually like YouTube celebrities. I watched you and like a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shit, like throughout high school, I was like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And so I picked up the camera, and from there, it was just like, I decided to just go full force. I talked to another girl, she fucked me over. And after that, I was just like, dude, fuck everything. Fuck everyone. Like, I don't care about anything except myself.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, and I was like,
started.
I like resented everybody. I didn't give a single fuck about anyone. And the only people that I cared about was my friends and my family. And that was the only thing that I cared about. And I remember just being so down and depressed. I didn't know anything else other than to just write down what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it was manifesting shit. So I would write down everything that I wanted.
Here's the thing I really want to make known before we keep going on this journey for you guys and for you specifically. That I was saying earlier about listen to what he was saying about what he was focusing on and how he was then what he was getting, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on the girl, got the heartbreak, focused, and then he switched his focus. The thing that I'm even talking about, even if I'm referencing this ayahuasca stuff, remember, the thing forced me to look at the things I needed to look at inside myself, right? This is the thing that's really significant. And you said it with no ayahuasca.
Yeah.
You just got to a point where you're like, oh, fuck. Like,
you're forced to deal with it.
You're forced to deal with it.
Yeah, it was like life hit me. And I was like, damn, well, like.
And this is the thing. And this is the
horrible.
point. The point I'm trying to make is this, is like, that is such an essential part of life. Like being forced to look at something and then understanding where you focus your energy, you're going to
end up.
Yeah. You're going to go towards, you're going to grow. So the minute you were like, you realized you were focused on this and it fucked you. Not that it's a terrible thing, because like you can't guarantee those things not fucking you, because that's a part of life,
It's just
right?
an experience.
And it's another person. Like you can't control another person, you can't make them be the way you want to be. But you go, once you were able to realize, oh wait, my focus was here, I needed to shift it here. And then once you did that, now you started growing, you started getting better. So the same thing we talk about the kids who wanted to kill himself, all this stuff is like, it's just that finite focus of where you're at right here. But like it can change. You just have to do it.
You have to stick through it. Yeah. And that's like I was saying earlier, when he almost quit, if I didn't push him, and if he didn't push himself to like that feeling of like I should just give up because I'm not making enough money and I'm not able to like live on my own, he would never be where he's at right now. And that
you have to get
back
to that.
like,
yeah, I guess you got to get to that
giving
point.
up and killing yourself whenever you feel like it. There's no point in living anymore.
Yeah,
it's about pushing yourself, and he pushed himself, and that's the reason why he's here right now in this.
Or
position.
just straight up, bro, kill that old version of yourself.
Yeah, I just got
kill
fed
it
up.
off.
I just got completely.
And that's
fed
it.
up.
You go, fuck this shit. Fuck feeling like this. I remember the same exact thing, man. When I got broken up with the chick, and I was trying to do everything to change for this chick. I'm doing all this crazy shit, like getting rid of clients, getting rid of all these people in my life, because she was like, well, you're fucking that person, you're doing this, and I was like, oh, no more. That's gone. What are you talking about now? All this shit's gone. She was saying all this shit to me, and I'm changing everything to be like, no, I love you and I want you, right?
Yeah.
Which was to me, looking back, it was just a terrible form of attachment. It wasn't true love. Because true love you don't change your entire life to make someone love you, right? Yeah. That's not true love. Let's make sure that's known. But I changed everything, and then she still was like, no, this is like, I think the last thing she said, I had a client who was a dude, like this gay dude that I would train in Hollywood. She's like, no, you're fucking your gay client. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I remember being so distraught, calling my mom and telling her this story, and she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like crying. And then I snapped one day and I was like, fuck everyone, fuck everything. I don't give a fuck about no one. Fuck bitches. All I'm doing, I'm taking advantage of everyone and everything, because I felt so taken advantage of and so hurt. Yeah. And it did a lot of good for me. But it also, like, for years I treated people like that.
But doing it like that though adds a lot of negative to that.
It did because, bro, I met, like, soon after I met a girl that I dated for 8 years and completely fucked that relationship up from the very beginning all throughout, because of my inability to, like, allow someone in, because I was so hurt and I was so pressing everyone out, and I was like, I got a business, money, and do this, and I got a lot from that. But then now it's like, bro, 10 years later, 11 years later for me, and I'm looking back, and I talked about this on the Tate podcast, I talked about this before on another podcast. I'm looking back and I'm like, fuck, like I said, this ayahuasca stuff even is like to this point where I'm like, I need to develop this different aspect of my life that's not just like business and like achieving shit, right? I need to develop this like interpersonal thing that I'm so afraid to, because of my fear of not being good enough, or my fear of losing someone that I love, or someone that I put myself into, like I pour myself into in that way. So now I'm going back now in my life and going through that. And I'd encourage everybody, focus on what you want to do. Focus on, like, being a social media person, whatever the fuck you want to do, like, focus on it, but don't like just go 100% and forget to look left and right and go, okay, Am I developing like my ability to hold interpersonal relationships, or am I just trying to fucking be popular on the internet?
That's what I did. That's the thing. And like, in order to get to where I need to be now, was that
You blocked everything out.
Like I said, like I was like fed up with everything and everyone, and I just wanted to be selfish and do exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And
it could work.
And I wrote it down, and I was like, I was in such a negative mindset, and I would just write down whatever the fuck I felt, and then decided to, you know, slowly transform into more positive things. And I was like, okay, well, like I'm positive. I can become like the greatest videographer in the world. I can become the greatest content creator in the world. All this shit, and I still do it to this day. But the thing is with that, there's sacrifices in order to be great, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm 23.
Yeah.
We're all young. We're young. You're 10 years fucking older than us, so like you got more life experience. But I feel like basically what you're saying is that you sacrifice a lot of the things in order to be successful, and now you're dealing with it later on. Mm-hmm. If there was one thing that you could go back, because this is honestly advice more for myself.
Yeah, but everyone.
Because I feel like I'm so in this realm of wanting to be successful and knowing that I need to be successful and do something great, because that's what I've always felt since I was a kid, that I need to block everything out. I need to block love. I need to block relationships. It's like everything is like, I feel like I am being so selfish in order to get to where I need to be and be great, that I'm sacrificing a lot of other things.
Sometimes you have to be selfish
and because
to do that type of stuff.
You're a successful person,
Yeah.
right? You're 32, you're 10 years older than me. You've got a lot more life experience than I do. Like, if you could go back and change something in order to learn from that, and like also live like a healthy fucking life, because like,
here's the deal. I would never change anything.
Yeah.
I would never do that. And I would now just never even think like that. But I will tell you what I've learned, right? So I wouldn't say go back and change this and live my life this way. I will tell you, without a fucking doubt in my mind, that sometimes it's needed, but at the same time, you do have to be willing to slow down, because everything is so unique, right? The way that you process things is completely different than him, every other person, right? No one's exactly the same, right? So your ability to slow down and go like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm focused on like becoming this or becoming that, right? And your ability to like take inventory of yourself in like this other aspect of your life, let's call it like not business, we'll call it friendships and friendship building. This one we'll call it intimate relationships, right? There's all these other aspects of your life. I can't tell you exactly your relationship to all those things, but I will say that if I could tell my younger self, yo, be aware of this, because it's going to bite you in the ass later, or like it could be a problem. Because ultimately, I can't say, oh, it's a problem, it should be different. It is just my life. And otherwise, I wouldn't be able to share it with you and the people listening. So I would tell my younger self that make more mistakes in this path. Like, you're maybe going to fuck some more shit up, but be willing sometimes to slow down and stop and just look around. And be willing to be vulnerable with yourself, because you will know in your heart, really, like if you listen and stop, not just, you have to get out of your mind sometimes. You have to get out of this like conscious, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got to do. You have to be able to go like, okay, what is my heart telling me?
So
like what's in my heart?
So like, you know how like you get that feeling, you said that what feels good and what actually is in your heart? I feel like a lot of people are like in their head so much, right?
There's a disconnect.
So
absolutely.
Because like for me, like I was like that.
Yeah.
I was exactly
There's
like
a disconnect.
That. Yeah. So like, in order to get that clear state of mind, in order to like really know what you truly want to do, and for me, at least in my experience, was like meditation.
That's what I'm going to tell you. Meditation,
writing,
and this is the thing.
Writing down positive things.
But when I was your age, like people would be like, meditation, I'd be like, what the fuck you talking about, you dumbass?
Hippie, bro.
Yeah, I was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. So, but now I'm older and I'm like, yo, this is the smartest shit to do. Yeah. Like, because you have to try to erase all the other shit. Like, if you could sit in a space and just focus on your breathing and like genuinely listen to your thoughts go in and out of your mind without trying to hold on to them, without trying to make them something that you want them to be different, you want them to,
just more like observing them.
Exactly. And it's so hard. It's so hard for people to do this, because a thought will come in and then they'll have like 10 other things associated to that thought that they go, well, this and that and that. And then like you try to organize it. Like I've been that way. But the minute you realize like you're able to just relax and like they're all little practices in letting go and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. So if you could sit in that moment and just like, okay, I'm going to focus on my breathing. No matter what thoughts come in, I'm going to continue to focus on my breathing. Let them go. Let them come. Let them go. Let them come. Let them go. That is so powerful. And it sounds like some hippie bullshit. It sounds like some bullshit in general. But bro, I swear to God, that will change your life because you will start to get those thoughts and they'll come in. And just like I said about the fucking ayahuasca
just, like,
shit.
goes out.
No. The thoughts will come in. And like I said about the ayahuasca shit, you'll be like, it'll hit you and you'll be like, oh, I felt that. That's the one.
Yeah.
And then you can listen to that instead of just listening to the shit up here. And the shit up here is normally associated with everyone else's fucking opinion. Oh, you should do this and do that and do this. And oh, he did that to you. You should do that to him. All this kind of shit. And then you start to feel those thoughts in here. And then you know, oh, that's undeniable. I have to listen to that. Yeah. And then the better you get at listening to that, the quicker you can listen to it. And the quicker you can listen to it, the quicker you can move through life and grow and get better in all those aspects and all those avenues.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this shit's all about. And the thing is, that's why I can't say this is exactly what you do because I can't speak to the exact person. I can't feel what they feel. I can't know what they know about themselves. But you have to be willing to be vulnerable with yourself. You have to be willing to put yourself in positions like that maybe it seems a little weird, but it allows you time to decompress from all the social media shit, all the input, and allow yourself to just fucking be, to see what's really going on in your mind. Not just the top, like I said, based on other people, but what's really going on in your heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then like going back to like how everything kind of started with all three of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just ended up finding like you posted some shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
I messaged your old assistant, Danny. Shout out Danny.
Danny's a police officer now. Shout out Danny.
And I honestly,
No, I'm just kidding.
this is like a
I'm
super.
kidding.
I love them.
This is like a super big key, and I honestly think the reason why I'm able to work with you guys and have all these opportunities I'm super thankful for and grateful for was I remember I went to San Francisco with Nate. Right?
When was this?
This was long.
Sus. That's where I'm from.
No.
This again, I'm just saying.
No, we went to San
You're
Francisco.
from there. What are
I
you talking
know.
about?
That's why I can make those jokes, motherfucker.
Nah,
what the fuck?
you're
Anyway,
still from living there.
We went to San
You
Francisco.
live there.
We took a trip because it was his birthday.
Okay.
And for some reason, this is like the main point that everyone should take away from this is that having that true feeling and like meditating and taking the time out of the day to be alone and truly be alone and manifest and all this shit, right? Because I had been doing it for like a solid like month, 2 months. That's all it took me. Because I was like so focused on what I actually wanted to do. And it was, I wanted to do the job that I'm working.
Yeah.
Didn't matter who it was with. I didn't have an idea, but that didn't fucking matter. Didn't matter to me. I was just like, okay, well, this is the thing that I want to do. How am I going to do it? Doesn't matter. I just wrote it down every day. And so we went to San Francisco. We went out to like
My aunt's house.
Yeah, to his aunt's house and do like some birthday party bullshit. Anyway, regardless of the fact was that I had this weird feeling that something really good was going to happen.
The entire time.
I didn't know.
I even went to the ER that weekend.
This is before like you even posted that shit on Instagram. I just kept telling myself and I would say it out loud, literally manifesting the shit that I have. And I was like, something good's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. And then I started to feel it and I continued to say it. And I told Nate and he was just like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
I had just left the ER. And he was talking about.
He had just left the ER because of some bullshit. And I was like, bro, something good's going to happen. And I kept saying it. And then you posted on your Instagram that you needed a new videographer. And I was like, okay, well, shit, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
DM'd my work, blah, blah, blah. And I told Nate, I remember on the drive home from San Francisco, it's like a fucking 5-hour drive.
Yeah, it's long.
I'm like, when I get home, I promise you I'm getting this job and I'm going to change my life forever.
Holy shit.
I said that. And you know it. You're a witness, bro. You're a physical fucking witness.
And I remember telling him for some reason I feel you. I understand what
Dude,
you're
I was
feeling right
so
now because
like,
I feel like it's gonna happen.
it was
I don't
crazy.
know. It was a weird fucking feeling.
Ayahuasca,
Crazy,
dude.
Crazy, bro. And I went home.
lit.
I went home
Fucking
that night,
real life
and I was
trip.
like, I'm getting this job. I'm gonna fucking kill it. And this is like I feel it, and I knew it. And I wrote it down, said it out loud. I felt it. Everything. Manifested it. Boom. Now I'm here.
And then he almost quit on the first day.
Almost quit on the first day.
Tell him.
Almost quit on the first day.
Hold on.
You gotta tell that.
I think we all almost quit at least the first week of being with you.
Yeah. Good.
It's not easy.
I almost quit
Good.
because my grandma died the first week I started.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh shit.
and-
No, remember when he yelled at you? You were like, "This is normal."
Definitely. Yeah, but like,
Well, the first time I ever worked with Brad, I went in and like obviously he was like I showed him my work and for some fucking
to
reason,
be fair, let's say your
said it was
work was mid. Everything was mid.
Yeah.
Everything. It's not like
It was
better
pretty
than
good.
average.
okay.
It was better than average.
Better than average.
I would say.
Man,
Dude,
it was average.
Better
It
than
was
your-
average.
Better than your old YouTube videos.
But my old YouTube
Well, the
videos really
takeaway
weren't
is like,
tried.
dude,
It's a
it doesn't
different
really
thing.
matter because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, if you know you can get better, then fucking
No,
and you believe it, then you can get better.
But let me tell you though, let me tell you why I was like, okay, I can hire this guy though. Was not because I looked at your work and I was like, wow, this is incredible, But it was because for some reason I felt like there is room for improvement. I knew that, but I felt like you were willing to improve.
Yeah.
Like even from conversations with you, like as I was talking to you and I'd give you feedback, and I'm not the nicest when it comes to giving, because like I've done this shit for so long.
You don't want to waste. You don't want to waste my time, and just most definitely, I don't want to. You don't want to waste your time,
and I don't want to waste. And I had a guy before you who, like, imagine I just got a guy who quit before you who I laid it all out. You knew exactly what the fuck was the job, and you knew what it entailed, and you're like, yeah, and you wanted this money, and I gave you this money, and you flopped it and then flopped it and flopped it, and it's like, but at the same time, it took so many months to get him to even be at the point where, because he did work that job for a time where he would. Like, I'm pouring into this guy, yo, don't do this, don't do that, do this, change that. Like, because I know what works.
Yeah.
And then I'm teaching. 6 months go by, the person just flops, right? So my fear is like, I'm going to teach, and then you're going to fucking flop, right? Yeah. So that's why I have to be very like, this is how it has to be. Do you get it or not? And you started getting it quick.
Brad's also an absolute psychopath, and if it's not exactly to the T, then it's like, buddy.
Yeah, but look how much
better you have to be.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. But look how much better you guys are because of that shit.
Yeah.
You are always going to be better because of that. Like, yeah. I'm not here being like, yo, you fucking suck. You're a bad person. I'm just like, you know that you could do this better.
Yeah. And going back to the first fucking day.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is going to make sense, right? So the first video, he called me in, and I was like, God damn it, here we are. It's 8 a.m. He told me to come in. We're going to film a video with Noah Beck.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know who the fuck Noah Beck is. I know exactly who it is. So I come in, and my ass is completely like I'm low key a little starstruck because I used to watch all the videos, and I'm like, damn, this is super cool to like be a fucking videographer.
Oh, blah, blah, this story's hilarious. Okay.
And so like,
I love this.
I'm filming, and because I'm not like a super curated videographer yet, I'm not experienced. I'd only been doing freelance work and working with influencers I'd never done. So I'm like filming the video this way. Brad's talking. And I'm not paying attention.
I'm in the frame.
Yeah, you're in frame, and Noah's talking. And I'm like, okay, well, this is way more entertaining. I'm going to look at the conversation with my head, and I'm not moving the camera.
Yeah, this is the number one thing,
like,
dude.
They're talking, and Brad, I didn't even fucking bat an eye to it. And so Brad goes, turn the camera off. And I stop recording, and I'm like, the fuck, why is he telling me to stop recording?
In front of Noah?
In front of Noah. Like, we're like in the middle of filming. Like, so fucking
fuck.
it was so fucking random. I thought they were just having a conversation. He's like, turn the camera off. I'm like, okay. And he goes, don't fucking do that shit. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he's like, when we're talking, you pan the camera. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention.
Because the number one thing, like the worst thing a videographer can do, like he's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like his problem was he's filming me, and then he starts talking, and he goes like this with his head. But the camera's still on me. He's
not
more
moving
engaged.
the cam.
Exactly. He's more engaged with the conversation himself than he is with filming the conversation. It's the whole point, right?
I feel that.
So I've done, and you weren't the first person that's done that. You were like probably the fucking fourth person who's done some shit like that. And there was another guy prior, another guy. So I'm at this point, I'm like, is everyone fucking stupid?
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to film us or what are you shooting?
I didn't have that experience, bro.
I get it. No. And it's fine. It's fine. But I was at that point, I remember thinking like, oh, not this shit again.
Yeah.
I can't do this again.
But he snapped on me, bro. He was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
hold on.
Fucking do this again. I'm like, I'm going to get rid of you. And I was like, fuck, dude.
That same day he came home, and he was living in Moore Park still, and I drove over. And I wanted to hear about his first date. That's my best friend. I want to come over. He's like, I don't know if I could do this, man. I was like, why?
You did say that.
I was like, why? He goes, dude, I was just filming. He just fucking yelled at me. He said, don't fucking do that shit ever again. I'm like,
first time.
and I was like, maybe you don't want to work with him anymore. Like, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, and like I was like questioning it. I was questioning it. I was like,
hardcore as
damn,
fuck.
like, is Brad a piece of shit? Like, should I even work with this guy? Blah blah blah. And like, everyone told me not to do it because
I told him to do whatever you wanted to do.
Nah, everyone told me not to do it, and I was like, why? You know, like maybe. And the only person that told me to do it was my roommate, Devin.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, just fucking do it, man. Like, who gives a shit? Like, at least you said you tried. And he was one of the most successful people at the time that I knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And here we are.
Yeah, bro.
And I believed in it. And I was like, fuck it, dude. I don't really care what anyone says.
Here you are.
I honestly
Sleep deprived
believed
and
it. I was
depressed.
like, I honestly genuinely believe that if I just give it a shot, then I can say and die and say at least that like I tried. Because if I didn't try, then I'd be like, fuck, dude, I would regret that in my it was killing me. I was like, dude, if I quit and slip up on an opportunity that somewhat could be amazing, that would kill me.
Honestly,
I don't want to regret anything in my life.
Yeah.
And now look at you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
after you told me that shit, and like, I've heard multiple things he had told me like after the fact, like your guys' trips to Miami and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, like I would never work for a YouTuber ever in my life.
Just the amount of work.
It
wasn't even that because like he just seemed like super depressed. I'm like,
well, he didn't have time to do anything because me
Yeah.
and him would always like to hang out with him, and he was like, "Nah, I can't. I gotta edit. I gotta do this."
and it
gotta
made
do
him
that."
sad. And I remember thinking, I'm like, damn, like I can't do that. That's why I like
And
my music videos.
basically, what he said was, "I can't do anything anymore. I don't have a life."
So, okay, let me explain this. So there was a point when we were traveling so much, more than I had probably ever traveled, even my career of doing YouTube shit.
Yeah.
It's when we were doing all the gambling shit, the shit with Steve. But there was a point when I knew we needed more people. Okay?
You're a dick.
Okay, listen. Let me
Just
explain
let
this
him have
story.
it.
Let me explain this story. I knew it. I was like, I know that we need this. But I'm not going to lie. The competitive person in me goes, let's see how far Jacob can push
This
it.
motherfucker fried me, bro.
Okay, but listen. But now, you do 10 times less work.
Yeah, 10 times less work, yeah, for sure. But we also have help now.
No, but that's the point.
But we also still, at the end of the day, I do still do less work. But if it wasn't for doing, because at the time, we like slowly started with like, it was 2 videos. It was like, let's start with 2 videos.
Yeah.
A little light. I was like, that is fucking easy, dude. That is so easy in my head. I was like, damn, well, I can fucking do this every week forever. And then Brad's like, we're going to bump it up to 3. I was like, all right, it's getting a little, it's all right. I can still fucking live my life a little bit. And then we started doing 4. And I was like, buddy, what the fuck? Like, I had never produced that much content in my life. I was like, okay, this is getting a little harder. And I was like, you're good, man. Just drink a little caffeine. Drink a little caffeine. And then, when he thought it couldn't get any harder, we started traveling.
Every fucking
week, bro. It was like fucking Miami. It was Cabo, Cancun, Bahamas. Like
everywhere.
And we're not doing normal shit. We're with fucking Steve.
This
Steve will do
guy's
it.
a psychopath.
Steve will do it is an absolute fucking animal.
Yeah, he is.
He's not a normal human.
Yeah.
He's
He's
doing
like-
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like,
Because we're not doing normal shit. It's not like we're not filming shit at zoo. We're not filming just workout shit.
And he's a psycho like me, like nonstop everything.
It's
And he's
simple.
very last minute. It's very like we're doing this, now we're doing this. We're doing this.
It was
now we're
like
doing
before
this.
what we were doing, like the 3 videos here in California was like we were just filming like bullshit, like YouTube videos, like working out, blah, blah, blah. And that's easy to chop up. But then you have to get more creative when you're traveling because you want to go all out.
Yeah.
I
and
want to
then
go
you
all
also
out.
have to have the time to edit while you're traveling.
Exactly.
Basically.
And so like it starts off slow. We're in Miami, blah, 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 doing a couple workout videos here and there. I'm like, okay, this is easy. And we're staying at Steve's. And like, that was cool. And then all of a sudden we decided to go to fucking Cancun. And I was like, okay, well, this is fucking different. And they start doing like, gambling and shit, blah, blah, blah at the time. And then fucking starts ramping up. Then we meet 6ix9ine. We're with 6ix9ine every day. And we're in fucking Cabo. And then we go to Bahamas. And we're getting rampaged by fucking 1,000 fans in Mexico. I'm like, what is going on,
That was
bro?
so funny.
And keep in mind, like, we're filming all day. This isn't like we're filming at, 10, like, it's not a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, he's
And
filming
when I
all.
gave-
He's
when-
filming all day.
when
and
I gave
he's
up-
editing all night.
When I gave up my previous job at working 24-hour fitness, I was like, well, shit, this is boring. Like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. When you give up the 9 to 5, be prepared to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't know who the
It's
fuck
lit.
ever said that. They're like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I think working myself would be easier. It's not fucking easier. You just get more used to it and you
Exactly.
get more curated to it.
So here's the thing. Like I said, I knew there was a time. I was like, I want to see how far I could push this motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie. I did that.
It's fucked.
But I knew that he needed that. I knew that he needed that in order to like, if we were gonna bring more people, that he would know his max capacity, like what he could do. And now I bet you his max capacity is even higher. If he went to go do it again, he could probably facilitate it more, even with a better team. Right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We talk about this whole podcast is the same shit, the same concept. You wouldn't know good without going through the bad.
Yep.
It also would not make you better if it was just like, oh man, you're doing a great job, dude. Keep up that shitty work.
Honestly,
You
like,
wouldn't.
No, like, cause like I said, you didn't really like ever tell me that I was doing a good job when I was like grinding it out, doing like crazy videos.
And you probably wanted to be better.
And I just continued like thinking like, damn, well, like what the fuck, man? Like what else do I have to do to like be better? And I would watch YouTube tutorials. I'd watch like editing on sounds. I'd watch color grading. I'd fucking always want to like do more. How can I get someone to like watch this video through storytelling? How can I be better? Because this motherfucker is not showing no love. I'm like,
look,
God damn, bro. Like what else can I do?
And now
I was
he's
like,
the best.
I'm on my hands and fucking knees grinding, bro.
Look, Now he's the best.
Now-
Grinding
hold on, hold on,
24
hold on, hold
hours
on.
a day, bro. And if it wasn't
It
for
was
that,
really 24
and it was
hours a
like
day.
shitty, bro. I wanted to quit so bad, but because I thugged it out and I was like, you know what? Inside, I still had that feeling of, I didn't really manifest as much, but I still had the feeling I was like, I want to be great at something.
Yeah.
And I still think that to this day, even after that huge fucking bullshit, like
Yeah.
that shit was like not a good mindset.
Now you're the best at this shit.
But now I'm like, I think I'm very good at it, and I still manifest it, and I think that's on my way, and that's the part of the journey to getting to be great at something.
You're definitely top 5 editors
Yeah, I
on
would
YouTube
say.
right now.
I hope, bro.
Easily,
Fuck.
easily,
No, easily.
easily. But
Easily.
so,
Hope so. You
so
should have
that's
so
what
many
I'm saying.
people.
Like, look, obviously, I'm not saying I went about everything right. I go about everything right. I know that. But I do believe in hard work. And I do believe in having to do the work and go through the bullshit. And then you get to the other side and everything's fucking easier, man. Like, everything is more simple. And then obviously, I knew we had to hire more people. And it's so hard to find good people because it's more so often than not, I'll find people that like, they want to come in, steal some fucking clout and run away with it, right? I've dealt with that. So it was so hard to find the right people. And then it's so crazy that like he had you guys and I knew about you guys prior doing the same kind of stuff. And I was like, fuck, well, this would be great. Like if you guys could all be like a fucking crew. I didn't know how it would work because I didn't know, were you going to come in and then fucking not only suck, but like, would you be able to be consistent or would you be good or would you work hard? Cause like it's different between being good and like being a hard worker and being consistent and doing it over time.
Yeah, because anyone could be good at something.
And temporarily.
Like you could be good,
Yeah.
but like when you really get put to the test where you're like fucking, you got to perform and do X amount of videos.
Can
or
you
do
still
X
be
amount-
good?
Can you still be good?
Yeah.
Because that's when hard work comes in. It's
Exactly.
Like, what do they say? Hard work beats motivation.
Hard work beats talent.
Talent. That's what it
Yes.
is. That's
Yeah,
what
I got
hard
you.
work beats talent.
It's all good. I'm 30.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I'm older. You know, it's like I've been.
Mine's racing right now.
No, you got it.
It's all good.
So anyways, you brought how the story went. You brought Silby, right? He
Yeah.
came next. So
You guys were on your last trip in Miami. I think it was last August.
yeah,
So
The end of the storm.
I texted him.
yeah, dude.
Well, no,
I was ready to get out of that bitch too.
like,
Let's
fuck
be
this
fair.
He actually asked me. He says, "Yo, like I might have a job opportunity for you. Like, would you want to do it?" I'm still in school at this time. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm about to go on into my last year of college, and he would message me about it, and be like, "Oh, that'd be cool. Like, yeah, I'm down." Never said anything about it again. I'd message him like almost every day. I remember. This is like literally leading up to my first day of school. I was like, yo, like, am I going to get this job? Whatever. He's like, I'm not back yet. He FaceTimed me with you next to him and says, yo, we're going to bring him out here. I don't know if that was a joke or what, obviously. But you probably
It
don't
was
even
like some
remember.
It
bullshit.
was a joke.
And he's like, okay, we're going to bring you out here. I was like,
I was
whatever.
probably like this. Who
So
the fuck's that kid?
Me and him went out there, but you guys ended up leaving that
Straight
same fucking day. So me and him just were out there anyways. I got home. You guys got home. I'm like, yo, Jacob, am I coming in? Whatever. And then it's literally the day of school. My last day of fucking senior year for college. He still hasn't sent any word yet. I'm on my way to school. I go to see son. He's like, yo, he calls me. I'm like, almost at school. He goes, all right, I'm going to, Brad wants you to come to zoo.
I just said fuck
I
it.
don't go to school. I turn around. I dropped out that day. Literally that same
You know what's
exact
funny
day.
about that? You want to know? You gotta always thank Jacob for this.
Yeah.
That was 100% his decision.
No, I know.
Yeah, because we had already been looking at like 3 videographers, and like I was like going back to the whole thing of surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
And like these are the only 2 fuckers that I actually believe that are hard workers. Like they're the only 2 people that I hang out with.
Yeah.
Like since high school, and we've all wanted to do this series.
I'm not gonna lie. I was hesitant at first. I was like, these are just his boys. He's trying to get them paid.
Yeah, yeah.
All these thoughts.
To be fair, I didn't even want to work with you in the fucking first place. No, I swear to
because you
God.
were scarred by the early shit.
Well, I was first, yes, because I was scarred by what the fuck he was going through. I'm
That's
like,
true.
I was traumatized by his trauma. So I was like, fuck that, and I was okay with making my own schedule and being my own boss with the music video stuff. But then, like, I just, I finally realized rappers just broke as fuck. Like, your chain, like the chains they have is all the money they saved up to buy that chains, and they have nothing else left.
Unless you're like an A-list rapper.
Exactly.
course,
If you're A-list, whatever, you're still making money, whatever. But other than that, like, it don't matter how many followers you got. Like, I know which rappers actually broke, but like, anyways, it just, I don't know. I
go
didn't
back
want
to
to work
your
with you. I didn't want to work with you in the first place. But I just, I realized how much he's learned and how much better he got from everything. And I'm like, fuck it, maybe I should try it out. And then he's like, I do have an opportunity for you if you want to take it. I'm like, really hesitant about it just because like of everything I heard. And then I don't know.
It's so funny.
I just said, fuck it. My girlfriend now was the reason why I actually took the job.
Why? What do you mean? She was like, I need money for these kids.
Well, no, me and him always said that so all 3 of us always said that we wanted to work together. We didn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
Whoever it was for, whatever it was, we just always said that. So it started with him, right? Then it came to me, and then we were like, let's get Nate a job. We have to. Like, this is like,
It's kind of fun.
yeah.
It's lit.
Like we
It's
all
not-
have to
it's
make it a thing.
It's a lot of work, but it's like, fuck it, you know?
And then finally he came.
That wasn't the reason why though. It was
was
a big
part of
reason.
the reason.
It was a big reason why, but the reason was because I was so tired of being used and like not getting paid to do these music videos. I would work so hard, spend countless nights, fucking till 4 a.m. as Jacob, and like in studios and fucking random spots in
Bro,
LA.
who the fuck owes you money, dude? We gotta find those people.
Dude, I will
They're
make.
fucking
I
lame
can.
as
I
shit.
can put a whole list together
That's
and
so lame.
and
Yeah,
add
shit's
up.
crazy.
I literally have a whole notes of everything that people owe me, whatever. But it's definitely
How much
over,
money you think you're owed?
over $5,000.
Oh, that's not that bad.
But honestly, like,
It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, dude. What the fuck?
but like that $5,000, like
I get it. I get it.
would've
It's,
helped me. And I didn't charge that much. Stop.
You were
I
charging
didn't
like
charge-
$250 for a video.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, that's a lot of
$250,
videos.
Yeah.
God damn, bro.
But I was doing it because I actually loved doing music videos, and I wasn't down to overcharge somebody for a music video because I wanted them to afford it so I could keep working with them because I only cared about the work, not because of the money.
So
like-
that shit didn't age well.
'Cause it's like,
my
it's like-
girlfriend saw me like go through all that shit, and she was like, and I was tired of just like being low on money, living fucking whatever paycheck to paycheck, even though it was just a little cash here and there. She was like, maybe it's just time for you to take that step and like do something where it's more consistent work. Like, I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid to to put in the effort.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who I do it for as long as you appreciate it.
Yeah.
And as long as like I'm being taken care of as well. So then finally he had talked to me. He sat down and talked to me. He's like, it's a lot of work, but like you'll be taken care of.
I
fucking cared about was
I just told him that, like, bro, I mean, if you follow your passion, because like we've been wanting to do this shit since damn near fucking 9th grade.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do it since 7th grade, honestly. And I was like, I would have like real conversations. This is just funny too.
We had deep ass conversations.
We always just have like deep conversations about like, damn, like this is where we want to be. This is where like we need to be, and like we need to follow like our passions and live like a dream job and like do that shit. But we have to like all like work together, because I found out like I said, like manifesting your shit and like saying it out loud, like if you believe it, then like if it's more than one person doing it, if there's like 1 or 2 people or even 3 people that actually
energy
believe
towards
it,
that, yeah.
and like we would always like work out together, and like it was like that energy bouncing around. Like we'd get progress, or like I'd get progress, and Nate would get progress, and Sid would get progress, and like that was when I knew that like as like a fucking trio group, like that we could do something.
We were so good.
It was just
together.
it was dope because it was like based off of working out, and it's like that's what we work in, fitness industry. And like if it wasn't for that, like I was like, damn, well, we can really do this shit. Super random thought.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
What about him?
He just got unbanned from Twitter.
No, that's right.
He did.
He did. He's back on Twitter.
Super random. I know it's super random, but like it's like fucking far left field. But Elon Musk unbanned
and
Andrew Tate.
And he got like 1 million followers in a day.
And also unbanned Donald Trump.
Yeah, he did.
What
And Kanye West.
Damn.
What if Andrew Tate did ayahuasca?
Bro, he'd be like a fucking. He'd be like a. What if? I wonder if he's done.
What we could talk about?
What?
Is you had a conversation with Tate off camera. What did you guys talk about?
Oh shit!
Because like
that's we can't really talk about that.
Shit.
That was a lot of stuff.
Damn.
A lot of stuff we can't really talk about. But so if I'm thinking if Andrew Tate did ayahuasca, like if I did ayahuasca with Andrew Tate, I think it would be the craziest. Like it'd be like the craziest. This guy, we'd probably like break the sound barrier. Like I think he'd turn into like.
I think you guys would break the internet together.
Yeah, I think he would turn into like a fucking like a. Maybe he's already done ayahuasca.
There's no way because I don't think he'd be so misogynistic.
Oh, you think it makes you non?
I think.
But
like,
do you think he's really misogynistic? Really?
Why? Just because of like the videos I see, like I know like on podcasts and like
it's not very
the
top
videos
G,
he like.
Yeah, that was kind of lame of you, dude. Just FYI.
Why?
Just kind of lame.
Kind of fucking not very top G.
Yeah, we're just saying. I mean, bro, you're entitled to your opinion. It's fine.
It's all good, bro.
Just kind of not. It just like really felt low
Man,
G.
fuck you. Fuck you.
It felt really low G.
I'm out of here.
Well,
it felt low G to me, dude.
Well, no,
Straight up.
No, honestly though, like I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says, but he does say some fucking shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's
That's
a lot
what-
of
that's
things
what
he
I'm
does
talking
say.
He do be spitting facts sometimes.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying everything he
does.
says is not facts, but like I'm
I feel
saying
like every girl hates him.
No.
Nah,
no,
You don't think
no.
so?
he definitely has. some
Bro,
fucking
when we
fans,
went to
some girl
fucking
fans.
Dubai, if
Yeah.
every girl hated him, then there would be zero
Okay, that's
bitches at his
different,
crib.
isn't that like?
Yeah,
He had
there
some.
was-
He had some.
He did. He had some
bitches over there.
He had some talent.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
But I
like.
feel like he can't even put that in now.
Oh,
He has some talent.
He did have some talent. Though. I won't say. Bitches.
Anyways, long story short, I think if he took ayahuasca, he might just literally like rise.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
like literally just float away. Because it makes you. I think, dude, it makes you even more like
No, but that would
certain.
you think? Okay, well, I guess. What if he doesn't really feel that? What if he like deep down he just doesn't actually feel that, but on the internet he's saying this shit just to like for the views, you know?
Well, I talked to him about that when I did the pod with him in Dubai. It was like he did say that like he could have said things differently. Like obviously he knew at the same time that the controversialness of his conversation, the way he said it, he also knew that that's kind of how the internet works. Like that's how you get the growth. Like I mean, it's simple. It's really this simple. If he came in and only said, "Yo, empowerment stuff for men," people are just not going to listen the same if he says that.
Yeah.
And also this other stuff that's more controversial. That's just the way it is. That's how the internet works.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's okay and it's right and the things that he said are great in every aspect, but I think a part of him knew it would have such an effect that would cause like everyone to be like, "Oh my God." But at the core of it, he has a lot of really positive things to say, in my opinion. And I had a conversation with him off camera.
I'm not saying everything he says is like misogynistic.
Well, it's like with anyone, right? I don't agree with everyone.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like if I took stuff like that, like, I just change my ways and be more understanding towards everybody. Like, not just
I see
like,
what you're saying,
you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Even so, off camera, for example, I think he is very understanding. I think he just knew at the same time, no matter what, it's on the internet, no matter what, there is a bit of a character for everyone. Everyone plays a little bit of a character. So
you're saying that you think he's been playing a character a little bit?
No. I'm saying that part of his character was to be a little bit controversial. So yeah, there is a little bit of a character play.
I mean, you kind of have to do that, right?
But off camera, when I'm talking to this guy, like everything is very, very rational, very logical,
so it seems
and
like
not just void of emotion. Like he's not just like men, rational, logical. Like he does understand like the effects that it has. So it's like. I had this like literally like a 2-hour conversation after you were there.
I was there. Yeah. You guys were fucking. It was crazy because like this is right after the part 2 Tate podcast with Full Send, and dude, it was crazy because like we didn't film anything afterwards.
We didn't film anything.
But afterwards, like we were in Dubai and like we were like eating shit and like taking shots, blah blah blah. But like Brad and Tate were fucking sitting outside for I'm not playing, bro, like a solid 2.5 hours straight.
Yeah.
On this fucking table. Just shooting shit. I don't have no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
Can we know anything?
Yeah, I just can't talk.
But it's just crazy though because I wish like we could have recorded that. But
I wish I could have.
Obviously, it's like it's always the most like genuine off-camera conversations that are the best, which is fine.
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be.
What was the most important thing you got out of that conversation? If you can tell us.
I think Tate's a good person.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Genuinely.
How did you get that feeling? Like what made you feel that way?
All things considered that we were talking about, like I never felt like, oh, he's just misogynistic and he hates women. I don't believe that at all.
Okay.
I think that was a thing that, like, there's overarching viewpoints that like big picture viewpoints that would make sense why they'd want to kick someone off like that off of the internet because of a lot of the things that he was saying in regards to like society and like taxes and money and all these things that are like big picture. Like if you get a bunch of young men to believe in these things and these ideas, that it's empowering them.
Yeah.
It's encouraging them. And I think there is a lot of parts in our society in which it can make more sense for the powers that be to have less empowered men and weaker.
So you think Andrew Tate's kind of empowering men to be like...
Absolutely. 100%.
Let's fucking get this shit.
And obviously there's a line of like, you know, everyone's unique viewpoint of his viewpoints, right? You know, that the 12-year-old kid might not have enough of understanding of 100 different things to make the most sense of what Tate said, and then maybe he takes it and he runs this direction. But that is a reality in all types of conversations.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that like a lot of people were trying to cancel him just because of some of the things he said, not all. So they kind of made it seem it was like all the things he was saying was fucked up. Like I don't agree with fucking anything. Well, it's this, right?
Blah, it's like we go like this. We go like that thing he said was wrong.
But that's with anyone though, right?
Exactly, right? And there's also a ton of people who've done things that aren't fucking amazing for everyone, and they have a young audience, and they might do some fuck shit that kid's gonna see and think that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. So like we've experienced stuff like this, and like there's been other people who've been canceled in the past, and blah blah blah, and all this shit. It's frustrating because at like the core of it, when I was talking to him, it felt like the big picture. I mean, I don't know. It's just like in the society that we live in, it's just like the power.
It's like this way or that way. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, Christ, and it's not that simple, right? And in relationship to the way people view it, you can't make your message only, I guess, perfect for everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I got you.
It's more like
so because here's the thing, right? Do you
Not
think
everyone's gonna love you.
yeah.
Yeah, and do you think that like, okay, overall the message, there's a lot of message, a lot of good things in what he's talking about, and a lot of empowering stuff for men that men have been obviously looking for, because if he comes back from being banned, he's on Twitter and he's got 2 million followers in like 3 days. People like want to hear from this guy, right? Because there's a drastic need for that sort of male encouragement that has been lacking for so long.
So
otherwise,
why do you think Elon Musk unbanned these people?
Because he probably believes that they should have a say in like, they should be able to like voice their own opinions. I think that's why.
well, it also, I mean, I'll just call that exactly what it is. It also, it's also like relevancy, right? And it's also making Twitter more popular.
Yeah,
Not that it's
I
not
saw
popular.
some analytics on Twitter.
Yeah, they're skyrocketing.
That Elon just recently posted, and that Twitter.
They're skyrocketing.
I honestly do think Twitter's going to come back and be one of the biggest.
Well,
apps
Twitter's
in the world.
always here, but yeah, I love Twitter. I use Twitter all the time. One of my
Twitter's
favorite
fucking
apps.
hilarious.
But I'm telling you right now, it is. It's just like straight up.
Memes.
Elon's a smart guy. Guy gets a lot of shit all the time, but it's like he knows that people want these people. I'm not saying they're like make or break the platforms, but it's enough to cause like, oh, Twitter was the first app that brought this guy back. And that's what I'm saying. If this guy can get 2 million followers in fucking 4 days,
That says a lot.
clearly motherfuckers want to talk about or hear about or see what this guy's saying. So it's like,
so
no matter
fucked.
what you want to say about what he said or didn't say or all these other things, it's like there's obviously a lot of people who want to hear from this person. And there's a lot of good in a lot of the stuff that he says. So it's like, you can't just say this one thing is bad, that guy's a terrible person.
So like also too, because like that gives a perspective as like if Elon's the first one to unban these people, and you can see how Twitter's slowly been kind of from like this slow, steady platform, right? It's kind of like a plateau, and it's starting to skyrocket a little bit. Do you think that other platforms like Instagram and YouTube and all these other apps will maybe follow along that trend?
Yeah, and I'll
because
tell you
Elon's
why.
the first one that did it,
And I'll tell you why.
And at the end of the day, if we're being real, these apps are in it for the money. That's why people.
Yeah.
Let's be
And so
real.
here's the deal.
And Elon's
What's
probably
happening?
making a lot more money.
Hold on. What's happening? It's not even about money. He spent fucking 44
Yeah,
billion.
it's true.
It's more about competition and industry.
Yep.
The point is this. These apps now are getting to a point where they're so competitive with each other. Instagram versus TikTok versus, they're all like, apps are now changing the way that they're working with creators. For the first time ever, like I've never experienced this, just to make content on like Snapchat, they're starting to pay people.
Yeah.
Just to post stories. Simple shit I've done forever, made no money doing. Like I made money because I'm promoting raw gear, I'm promoting a workout program, I'm promoting my own video. I'm making money because of the content that I'm making, the way that I'm capturing it somewhere on the back end. Now these apps are starting to pay. TikTok started paying people more for all the little views. They used to pay a lot less. Now they're paying more.
That's so smart too.
So the point is this.
So smart.
It's smart, but they have to start competing.
Well,
because like now the pool is so massive, but also it's divided. So if you see like Twitter's popping, why would you think, dude, Facebook just laid off a bunch of people, Amazon, all these companies are laying off people because like shit's going like this overall. So if you see like, oh, if we let these, I'm not saying like that creator is going to just make it change, but it's like if you see any sort of, well, if we can put him on and we can make sure that like maybe his views are a little restricted, or like we can kind of get him like, yo, can you like not do this or not do that, then like why would they not try to work that out? I mean, I don't know. I don't see.
Also too, because if you see like Snapchat, like you said, is paying people like a lot of money and bigger creators like a fuck ton of money to make stuff, that's gonna make everyone else believe that they can do it and go on the app and make that app amazingly fucking huge.
The point is like if there's more people on an app because there's more creators on an app, but I think this is the thing that's happening is that basically these apps forever have been grown because of influencers. Yeah. Like YouTube exists because people like me and before me made content. People were like, this is cool. And then all these big companies came in and were like, money, views, we're taking all this shit. We're in this bitch. We're taking everything. Like, and now we're fucking the way that you get content from your favorite creators because we're in here. Buy our shit, right? And now they're starting to realize there's this like, well, TikTok came and gave people more views. This, like all these apps are now being like, wait, we kind of fucking need creators a little bit.
Yeah.
So now they're starting to come back around and be like,
I feel like TikTok was like that first app because it gave like smaller creators from anywhere, like part of the world, like people that have no fucking followers, a chance to like actually go viral.
Yeah,
but like you could see random people like they'd get like 10 million and 11 million, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
it's
they
not
have
even
0 followers.
It's the way the algorithm works, but I literally it's just because TikTok got so massive that all these other apps are like, wait, we're like people aren't making as much content here, right? Because prior to this, they were just like, we're Instagram.
Yeah.
You're gonna be here. right?
regardless.
Now, exactly. So it's like, we're not going to help you or deal with you or anything. We don't give a fuck.
Now
Like,
Instagram's paying people.
well, yeah, now Instagram's paying for Reels. Now Instagram's paying for all this stuff because they're starting to realize, like, wait, we need people to make content here. If not, they're going to fucking TikTok. If not, they're going to fucking Snapchat. If not, they're going to YouTube, right? And they're starting to realize that there's like real competition in between all the app space, that they're kind of like, they're having to do things differently. So like before it was like, you need us. Now they're starting to like, not that we need that they need us like really bad, but they're starting to realize they need us a little more, I think.
Yeah.
For the
I feel
attention
that,
to that.
Yeah, just
platform.
people making content on the platforms.
Yeah.
So because like you can't facilitate. Like imagine if all the creators were like, "Fuck this app," and then it's just a bunch of advertisers.
Yeah.
Where no one's there. Everyone's like, "Okay, I'm just watching ads on YouTube now." What the
Super
fuck?
random thought too, because you're a fitness influencer, and we're talking about TikTok. I was on TikTok the other day, and I saw H3.
Yeah.
And I know you're about to do a podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna do the
so I
pod,
feel like we should talk about H3 a little bit. I saw him working out on live.
It's lit, dude.
And
I'm proud of him.
and like, I know like he doesn't really work out.
Yeah, but
And you kind of roasted him.
I never roasted him for not working out. I roasted him for basically.
Didn't he say working out was like kind of pointless?
I don't know about that. I never heard that. If you
I don't
saw
know,
that,
and I don't quote that.
all I know
100%.
is
I'm pretty sure I remember him saying that like working out was pointless.
he gave me shit for keeping my gym open.
I think
he
it
never
was-
told me working out was
I
pointless.
think what he said was like people spending like all their time in the gym was pointless. To be honest, I'm not sure, but I think it was along those lines.
Which could actually be true.
But
You know,
but,
it's like-
yeah.
But no, if he's in the gym, that's great, dude.
But I do know that.
I'm gonna talk to him about it.
Yeah, you're about to be on
gonna,
H3.
I'm gonna be on
H3
H3.
pod.
I'm doing it in person.
Wait,
We've been
so
setting it up.
Did you guys have beef again, like with each other? I
We
don't.
didn't really have beef. No, not real beef. It's just like he said some shit that I was like, why the fuck would you say that without understanding the full
What was
circumstances? He just related the gym to like laser tag, basically, because I was keeping my gym open. He's like, basically this meathead is keeping his gym open for selfish reasons. It's obviously much different for me than that, right? But I'm having to like deal with someone just like clipping it and being like, yo, it's if we're saying the gym's important, then might as well just let people who play laser tag. Like that's kind of how he said it. It's like, it's the same thing. Yeah. Like the importance of the gym is the same thing as the importance of the laser tag for the laser tag guy. I just heard that and I was like, that's kind of fucking crazy. But it's obviously, it's from a perspective of someone who doesn't understand how important the gym actually is.
Yeah, that's
Well, it's dope
for
that he's.
themselves.
I think it's cool that he's allowing you, or not allowing
No,
you.
it's dope.
But, like, that he's having you on the
I don't,
podcast.
bro. I don't have an issue like that. Like I'm actually excited to talk to him about it.
So there's no beef.
No, dude, I don't
Cool.
give a fuck.
Because from the internet's perspective, I feel like people thought you guys had beef.
Like, actually?
From
honestly,
the internet's perspective.
No. Like I actually have beef with that guy. I don't even know
I
him.
fucking know, dude. That's just the
I just said all I know is I see shit and it's like negative shit. And I'm like, what the
the
fuck?
whole thing. It was more
He had
like
with
beef.
Steve, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's because like there was like a joke with the
dog.
The dog.
But
shit.
it was your podcast, so I thought it was beef, just because it was your podcast and like.
Yeah, I feel like the internet was commenting a lot on that pod about how like Steve said he jerks his dog off, and it was obviously clearly just a fucking skit. It was a joke.
It was a joke. We
joke.
made the joke prior, but like they believed that it was true.
Yeah, which is understandable, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the joke.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's part of the joke.
Really fucking
But the
funny.
problem I think was because I think the reason why they shot back and was like, then why is he so mad that it's like.
I wish you guys filmed beforehand, like on camera, like, oh, like we should talk about this. And
Yeah,
like,
you remember.
Well,
You were there.
I can say that
You were there.
I was physically there, and like we were in Miami, and I remember them. We didn't film it because obviously like it's part of the joke. We don't want to give away the joke. But I remember them talking about we were in the fucking penthouse.
Yeah.
We were in the man cave.
Yeah, exactly.
We were in the man cave, and they were shooting this shit, and I heard them. They were like, "Well, we got to fucking do this to make it funny." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like we didn't film it, but I did overhear it. So
Yeah. I talked about how we're gonna think of like 3 current things and like throw 3 like fake bullshit stories.
yeah,
that
just
were
to make it
funny.
entertaining, and it was fucking entertaining.
Bro, it was
Clearly,
I
so
jerk off my
funny.
dog. Don't worry about it.
Clearly, it did get the internet's fucking
It did.
eye. It got the attention, so I guess it worked. Whatever the fuck you guys did.
I mean, that's part of it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the same thing. Like, that's that guy's content is like picking stuff and talking about shit, and it is what it is.
yeah, but
Steve was just foul against his wife. That was foul.
yeah, it's kind of fucked.
You can't do that.
But
He dogged his wife.
Wait, what do you say?
I don't know, dude. You can do
Yeah, we're
your
not
own-
gonna
You
read-
can do your own
He just
research on that
fucking-
one, but
Am I lost? Like, why the fuck? How come I just find out about shit like now?
Well, that's how it is. That's why the internet's a fucked up place, though, too. Because like some people will see bits of content and not see the full form, or not see the whole thing, or
you
not
have
see
to
the
really
other
do
side.
if you really
Yeah.
want to like really give a good opinion on something, I guess you got to really deep get in.
And that's why I tend to like sometimes I tend to like stay out of shit because like people, like I said, I'm not jumping in on like topics like that because
Unless they talk about you.
well, I don't know the whole side of the shit. And that's I only fired back because I was like, you don't really understand why I actually did this. You just made an assumption based on what you thought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel it.
So I always kind of like, I try to be like, all right, if I don't know fully, I'm just going to be like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was our side quest. Let's get back to the other conversation.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
I know for a fact we can do it because I felt it.
And now we're talking about making a production company together.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool.
Which is cool as fuck because I've always dreamed of doing something like that because I want to be able to make content for everybody and all kinds of fucking people. Like, not just making YouTube videos or just music videos. I want to make content. Like, it doesn't matter where we do it, how we do it. I just want it, like, commercials, anything.
What's the
like,
future, man? I mean, it's the
yeah.
present, it's the future. It's something that's not going to go. We've talked about this, but it's something that over the next 20 years is only going to continue to be more and more important. Like, because everything lives on the internet nowadays. So making content around either a creator or a creator in relationship to a company and vice versa, et cetera, it's never going to go anywhere. And the thing is, like, I've realized over all my years of doing this, like knowing what works, what people like, what people don't like, knowing all this shit that I kind of pour into all the people that I know, that I've been like, damn, this is something that I would love to go in further, and all the brand building, everything that I've done, the networks that I've created. And then I was like, I always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to have a company like this. I just knew that I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the Jacob. I wasn't the Nate. I wasn't the Sylvia. I couldn't do the actual application myself, but I've always wanted to be able to be involved in that space to a greater degree because I know what works. Right. And like, I'm really excited to do it. And it's dope.
I just think like all four of us, and then like whatever we add into it is gonna be like, I think we're just like the puzzle pieces that like just were meant to be together just to make something like this. Because
what's that?
5. Steve.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Steve too. Yeah, Steve's ride or die right there.
But like obviously like you're a big part of it, and like I'm sure you're gonna be a big part of it. But like I think, I don't know, you just needed people like us to be able to do it, and like people you could trust. And I feel like we all trust each other. I trust them with my fucking life.
Well, I think it's just at the end of the day, like, moral of the story is like doing shit that you actually feel
is right.
Exactly.
Is right.
Yeah.
And honestly, at the end of the day, like, that's why, like, I think I've got a little bit of success. That's why Brad has success. That's why Steve has success. Everyone in the world has success. Yeah. Because they're following the things that they actually truly feel in their heart. Yeah. And in the energy, because energy is a real thing.
Energy is a
If you fucking follow the energy that you get, that feels good, like that gut feeling, you're like, damn, like this feels good. Yeah. Or if you meet someone you know, like they're a shitty person, then you're like, damn, that person's a piece of shit. And then like, at the end of the day, they're like, damn, that person's a piece of shit. Or if you know something's going to go bad, like you get that gut feeling, you're like, damn, like I don't really have a good feeling about this. It's like, well, yeah. And then it ends up being shitty.
Well, and not to suck dick, but like I've felt that way since I've started working with you guys. Like all I've wanted to do was make all of us better. And like you could ask Steve and Chris, we have group chats together. I'm like, we should do this. Like I just want to keep getting better at everything that we do. Yeah. Like I feel so a part of this. I feel like it's like a real team, and like
I agree. It's been more than ever.
Follow the passion, man. Once you find it, it's a hard thing to find, but if you take the time,
I feel good about working like harder for you guys, and like because of that feeling.
And it's because it's also reciprocated. Like I want the same for you guys. As much as I want to work harder for myself, I want to work harder for you guys, because at the same time, it goes like this, man. Like I couldn't keep going if I didn't have you guys to be like around. I couldn't do it. Like it's just kind of like it also wouldn't be as fun. Like I like to see you guys succeed and make money and have fun, like all that shit. So at the same time, at the end of the day, we talk about this. It's like peace, love, and ayahuasca, pretty much. But we keep talking about the same thing, which is important, which is like where you place your energy, where you place your emphasis on what you're thinking about, what you're like really feeling, and are you attentive to it? Because if you listen to that's going to allow you to be successful, not even in a sense of money or financial gain, but like happiness. Yeah. Because if you listen to your heart and you listen to how it feels and you act upon it, like you're not going to be unhappy. You're going to be unhappy when you look around, you're like, fuck, I don't like being here. I don't want to be here. Like your body, your heart's telling you get away, right? But like your mindset, I have to do this though. Like if you start listening to your heart more, you will have so much more success. Yeah. And not only will you have so much more success, you'll be better at everything that you do. Like period. Because then you'll do the things that are guiding you, like, you know, your heart is guiding you to do this because you genuinely give a fuck about it, because you actually like doing it. And then that product or that thing that you're working on, it's going to show that. It's going to represent that.
Facts. I just think that people get too caught up in like what everyone else is doing.
Of course.
And they're like, well, this guy's successful, so I'm gonna do everything that he did.
Just focus on you.
Well,
It's like,
that's
until like you really truly decide to like make that step and the effort to work on yourself and be alone for a bit and feel all the feelings associated with that.
Yeah.
Be comfortable.
That's when
being uncomfortable.
be comfortable being uncomfortable, be alone for a bit, and like honestly follow your gut feeling.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
listen
I
to
feel
it.
like that's gonna lead you to success. I'm
That's
not saying
it.
I'm the most successful fucking videographer in the world,
Peace.
but I'm just
love,
saying like it seems like
Ayahuasca.
all the people that I've surrounded myself with, all the people I've surrounded myself with, and the people that I've seen and met and talked to, and it seems like they all say the same shit.
Yeah,
so
they
I'm
do.
gonna just keep fucking doing that. So all the
what it is.
videographers and creators,
Hey, anything's
that.
fucking possible. You
Yeah,
can work
hell
with
yeah.
Bradley Martin too.
Bro, but beyond that, just like do shit that makes you happy too.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It'll lead you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Like, follow your passions. Stay solid.
and
be
do
genuine.
ayahuasca.
Yeah. Sylvie, go ahead. Close it out.
Sylvie.
Make sure you do ayahuasca. This is about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is forever.
Wait, you sound like a cult member. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
not cool.
Ayahuasca is forever.
I'm kidding.
No, but that's it. I appreciate you guys a lot. I just want the world to know that
We
guys
love
are
you, Brad. We
fucking
love you.
amazing.
Yeah, we love
You guys
you.
are
We love you.
incredible.
It's all love.
You work fucking hard. I know it's not always easy. It's not supposed to be. That's the point of life. You're just supposed to fucking try harder every day.
Facts.
And some days are gonna be more difficult than others, but you just keep going and you'll be like, fuck, you turn around and you'll be like, damn, this shit was dope.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I got one thing to
Squad.
say before we wrap this up. This is the smallest fucking couch, and I'm sorry
Yeah.
that
My
we had to
ass
sit in
hurts.
this, and whoever guessed that sat in this goddamn fucking couch, this shit fucking is small as hell.
Well, we're
And
gonna fix it.
It's our fault.
It is our fault.
We picked it out.
Yeah, we
So,
did-
We
anyway,
need a new
peace.
carpet. We need new couches.
yeah, we're gonna fix this.
Anyway,
Maybe next season. I don't know.
appreciate
Wait,
the love.
see-
Subscribe to the channel. iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Drop a like. Everything. If you like this video with the boys, show some love. Yeah. If you want more of it, let us know as well. I love you guys. We're out of here.
Peace.
Later.
Fuck yeah.